Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our exciting edition of Ringside Rants. As you can see, we're down to two people tonight because Josh is out sick and Sleepy Phil is, well, sleepy.
Yeah, he may join us later. We'll see when he gains consciousness.
And it's me, just Mike, and below me it's the musical maestro of Louisiana and everywhere else around the United States. And before we get started on anything crazy tonight, Jordan,
Yeah.
I was on Facebook, and our local wrestling scene here is insane. Which you already know about the Wrestling 225 and Wildcat Wrestling.
Right. So what's going on?
Well, my buddy, I have two friends. One of my really good friends with, I've been to his wrestling shows, one wrestling show, and then he asked me not to come back because of my past. Well, other people don't like this, that, and the other. What's up, Anthony? And so I was like, no problem, that's cool. Well, I'm still your friend no matter what, because that's who I am. And well, here I'll just reinform the other guy. Oh, it changed it. Well, I'll just go over here and search. There he is. And I don't block him because I like him. He's a good dude. People have their issues with him. 10 minutes ago, list of people that had me blocked. MT2, Chris Ricard, coincidence? I think not. And I really wish that SingFit would come on here and talk to us. I really, really do. Because I want to hear his side of the story on everything that's been taking place. And I'm not picking sides here. I've said this a million times that everybody involved in this situation, why come to me and talk to me like I'm picking sides? I'm not. I am 100% Switzerland in this situation. I like both people. I don't want to assume that I'm choosing your side because you're on here. No, I hear what you have to say. I hate it. I wish that they would all get along and do business together, because here in the Gulf Coast, that's what we need, man. We don't need people backstabbing one another and taking shots at one another. Hell, that's why they're not making it big, man. That's why they don't have the House of Glory revenue. That's why they don't have the CZW revenue. That's why they don't have the GCW revenue. That's why they don't have any of this stuff. And I'm not afraid to say it. That's why they fucking suck.
Well, I don't know the backstory on the whole what the problem is, what's going on between two sides, but in business, especially in the wrestling business, but in business, there's always going to be somebody upset with somebody. Money in business always causes issues. Jim Ross always says it, and it's true. It's either creative or cash, the two C's. And when people get in a battle or an argument, that's when all of a sudden your enemy wants to become your friend. Everybody wants somebody on their side. They're not worried about fixing and getting along. More people want people on a certain side. And I know that's what you just said you're not into. And maybe some people are trying to be like, hey, we want you to be cool with us. And you being a podcaster, it's good that you're neutral, because then you can cover everything and be fair and let everybody know, hey, I'm just here. If you want to tell your side of the story, that's fine. Now, a couple people might get upset with you because you won't take their back and go jump, they might get upset. Oh, well, but you're neutral in the situation.
Yeah.
I know you want to be neutral in the situation.
I do. And I'm not going to pick a side. Even if I feel if one person is telling, one way or the other and it leaning toward one person or the other person, I'm still going to hold my middle ground, because the simple fact is, if it's just something so stupid because of someone saying this, that, and the other behind your back, look, I'm dealing with that shit. I've dealt with that shit. These people don't want to see me coming. They already see me coming. It's already too late for them. They ain't nowhere to run, ain't nowhere to hide.
Oh, I got you. I've had some people try to talk shit in my business, in the music business, that people that couldn't cut the mustard, and then they get mad when I'm like, no, you're gone. You're out of here. Like, there's no reason that you're not putting up your part of the band or paying your part or whatever, or not helping or contributing, There's more to it than just playing. And exactly. people get angry when you call them out on their bullshit, because in their mind they think they're right, or that's the way they live. It's like, no, bro, I'm not here to give you a free handout. If everybody else can pull their weight, you pull your fucking weight. Now, this is my situation. Nothing to do with Gulf Coast wrestling scene, just for the record.
Right, right, right.
Just I'll answer a quick one from Anthony here. He says he grew up in Florida, and the wrestling over there for the independent scene tends to be more towards the old school deep south wrestling. Is Louisiana like that, or is it more towards Texas? Technically, we would veer more towards y'all's direction
Mhm.
because even though Texas is kind of right there, for me to get to Houston is well, you could probably get there quicker, but if you don't, if you want to make a couple stops, take a leak, and not break the speed limit and get 3 tickets, took us 10 hours with a few stops. Now you can get there quicker, but the guys in the other car got a ticket going quicker, so there you go. But no, Mid South was kind of it was pretty much Louisiana, Mississippi tends to be more of a direction, especially with it being
Mhm.
NOLA being closer. But yeah, that and along the Gulf, like Mike was just talking about the Gulf Coast scene. I mean, Texas is, but it's kind of the last Indian in this. It's really Louisiana to Florida. That's nothing against Texas, and Mike's gonna
But
agree with me. That's really what it is.
but it ain't all of Florida,
Right, right.
just the Panhandle.
Right. Yeah, Mike's right about that. But yeah, like pretty much you head through Floribama, you know what I'm talking about, all of that. But
Hmm.
yeah. So Texas is technically a part of it, but Texas yet again is another world.
It's a whole different world, man.
It is not just you have so much more country and nothing in certain areas, and it's so massive. But you also have the huge Mexican influence, and all of that. You have a lot of different moving parts over there. And you could try to say, well, what about Louisiana? Don't y'all have Cajun and all these? We do, but when it comes down to events and things happening, either everybody's in and they go to the same thing or they don't go. Whereas Texas has so much different culture. It's so big. There's so much, different parts of Texas are like different worlds in itself.
Look, I'm not going to boycott anybody.
Right.
I worked for Diamond Championship Wrestling when it first started, and I'm going to be honest. It was a shit show. I heard some things, this, that, and the other, about their trainer and how much money they pay him and all this stuff, which I don't care. I don't know that to be 100% certain. I just know that's a rumor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I get Scott Armstrong on here to talk to me, which that would never happen because I don't think he has the nuts to do it.
The real Scott Armstrong?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Anderson. My bad.
Who?
Wait, Scott
Mr.
Armstrong,
Anderson?
the referee?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of the right guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, maybe I mean, short of if he knows you personally, a lot of the people that have been in bigger places or whatever, they're gonna like people go on these podcasts, these official like these like Van Fleet and all these things. Everybody that's watching the show, y'all know they talk a little bit before the show starts, right? Like there's do's and don'ts, and every now and again, somebody he's pretty mild tempered. You get some of these podcasters, these interviewers that try to push the envelope like a journalist, and they'll piss people off, or try to get answers you can't give, or try to get the dirt. So everybody's
Ariel
different.
Hawani. Ariel Hawani.
Yeah. But yeah, and you remember the last Tony Khan was so interview was so softball after their reunion, after their love fest. We did not get what we wanted at all. We pretty all we got from that entire interview was everybody remember Dynamite's on Wednesday at 7 o'clock and Collision on Saturdays. That's all we learned, which we already knew.
And he didn't speak about nothing about the CM Punk situation.
Indeed not. Indeed. Well, legally, I don't think you can. I don't think Punk can to a point. I don't think anybody involved legally can. That I wasn't waiting for answers to that because when you legally tied, binding like that with a contract, you can't just that's stuff where you got a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, but is it though?
Well, if they went to, I mean, didn't they threaten to sue each other and all of that? Didn't that happen? Didn't Punk put out like a because he wanted his money and all that, and Tony Khan was trying to be like, "Oh, well, we breaking the agreement. I don't owe you the rest of everything." And Didn't they have some kind of, or at least get to a settlement or something, or pay out?
There was an NDA because of the whole situation between Punk and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
And what
That ain't what I'm talking about. That
Jungle
ain't what I'm
Jack Dick Swinging wasn't involved in that too? I thought he was.
talking. Mm-mm. No, he was involved in the second altercation.
I saw that when they decided to air that on TV. It was the most nothing I ever saw. Don't know
It,
why
it was
Tony
stupid.
Khan thought he had to show that. They would have
Uh,
been, they'd been better. I mean, ratings, to pop a rating, of course, that's why he did.
all right, so Anthony's talking about whenever it comes stuff out of Louisiana, they seem to be more storytelling and technical based on less over the top characters. Now, Wildcat Wildcat Sports Wrestling or Wildcat Pro, I am a huge fan of Luke Hawks or Altar Boy Luke, whatever you want to call him. Nice gentleman, very nice guy, very humble, very easy to get along with. Uh, on camera, off camera, nothing can be said about him that could be negative. He even gave praise to Rob Black. He's given praise to everybody he's been in the ring with. Um, but my thing is, I had nothing but high praise for Wildcat Pro. Nothing but, I mean, dude, you've been to a wrestling show of Wildcat. I'm assuming. Have you
You
been to a
talking?
Wildcat? Yeah,
You
I'm talking
talking
to
to
you. No,
Anthony?
you.
No, I have not. I've been offered twice, and I either had other things going on or whatnot. I was a Mid South guy growing up, and that they came local, and I had family that was in the wrestling business, and so I came on the heels of those days that you hear Jim Cornette and Ted DiBiase talk about how brutal Louisiana crowds were, the
Uh huh.
reality that the drugs were down the bayou. That was where I was watching the wrestling, and there was you had to be. Bill Watts told them all the time, y'all get y'all ass kicked in public in a barroom. Don't come to work tomorrow. Y'all got to be tough. And yeah, them people down there, they're brutal. Like I was watching. This was from the early '98. I went to. They knew better than to announce what it was. It was at my local civic center, like 20 minutes away, and they sold that bitch out. It was WCW. They did not bother to tell it. We thought we all assumed we were going to watch Nitro. Now this place probably holds 5,000, but it's a bowl. There's seats. There's two levels. It's um.
House
I'll
show.
let you. I'll let you know when we go to Alario Center. What's Alaris says it's gonna look nice on the outside because this place is ancient, but it ended up being WCW Saturday night, and they packed it. They even sold more. They were packed to the ceiling. They were packed. They added extra seats. They ended up doing two tapings. So I watched 2 hours on one Saturday night. The next Saturday night, when we finally came up, was the other 2 hours. So I saw Goldberg wrestle twice in the main event. This is the I don't know how famous it is, but anyone who follows Goldberg, this is the one where he injured Ming Hardway Haku, and Jimmy Hart jumped on the top rope to try to jump on to take the attention off, and he ended up hurting Jimmy Hart too. When Jimmy Hart tried to do a crossbody off the top, thinking Goldberg knew what he was doing and he'd catch him, and the camera doesn't show Jimmy Hart helping Ming to the back. It focuses on Goldberg and good night everybody. But I got to see that, and I knew, I knew watching it. I said, wow, Ming. I said, he's not selling. He's hurt because they're hauling him off camera through the exit way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me get back to what I was saying about it. I went to see that and it was packed, but it wasn't even a nitro. But it was so packed, and that was 98. Thought I had another point about that I was gonna bring up, but I think I might have lost my train of thought. I'm trying Anthony, I'm trying to keep up with you, but if you wait and let me answer each question, I'll get to you. But I can't do three in a row. You said you were talking about Louisiana versus Florida in the Indies, and you said you found Florida was more
No,
outlandish, over
Louisiana.
the top characters, and Louisiana was more story and reality based. That was part of what I was. I remember what I wanted to tell you, Mike, but that was part of what I was talking about there. That reality of those days. That show I went to in '98. I taped them off of television, and I see all kind of people I know, people that are no longer alive, but older guys like generation ahead of me and two, and they were ready. The wrestlers would come out there and yeah, shut up, and they're there like, come on, bro, you think you bad, and the wrestlers just got to turn away and walk away because they're ready to. They're like, I'll kick your ass for real. Don't tell me you tough, and I saw that on there, but That's just a mentality. But I I would say, Anthony, you look at it as how serious are you going to take yourself, and I don't
Mhm.
mean that in a bad way. I mean it as how serious do you want your promotion to be taken? Do you want to? Okay, we're in these weird joke. We're gonna pretend with Chikara. Chikara could get away with that. If you come off like a clown, you're gonna have some fans, but you won't have as many people as you get if you're more reality based. And the whole reason wrestling was so big in the 80s is because the lid wasn't blown off yet that it was fake. You know, there was people legit trying to kill Jim Cornette just trying when his boys were winning, he's trying to get to the back. And he's trying to get in a car and get the hell out of there. You know,
Mhm.
they believed it was real. And so if you treat and I have not seen a lot of Wildcat, but if Wildcat is treating their product more in, all right, this is real moves, you know, it looks real. There's not no dick swinging and all of this stuff. And yeah, if
They
it's
have a
treated
little
with,
bit of that. They have a little bit of entertainment.
which is okay because if you have a little bit of that in each company, it makes your hardcore A level guys look more impressive when it makes them come off as more real. Great example of that would be in New Japan. We have Yano as comedy relief or Taguchi. All right, and some people, oh, that's dumb. I'm like, yeah, but you only had to watch it for about 5 or 6 minutes, and it was one match. Now you're
Mhm.
on to this hardcore shit where you got Dick to go committing murder on television, trying to rip a man's head off his body. You know, yeah.
Or Naito or Naruto. Is it Naruto trying to scythe people to death with his size?
That was more FMW where you saw that, but
Yeah.
they did have one time where Kishin Liger came out, Demon Liger, and he had a metal spike and he had all the wicked, and he went after Suzuki, and Suzuki had to run away. He stabbed through that table and missed Suzuki, and that spike went through that table hard way. The whole There was 3 a.m. and the whole world, the number one thing on the
Mhm.
Twitter machine was Kishin Liger. So that just shows you how insane that. Yeah, everything was Liger. Like, did you see what Liger just did? Holy fuck! You know, because
Mhm.
most people aren't used to evil Liger.
I mean, it's like we got Black Mask and or Black Tiger and CMLL and Fantastic Mania right now.
I didn't know that was an actual. He's playing the character Black Tiger. I didn't realize that.
Who?
Who you just said?
Who?
You just said Black Tiger in CMLL.
Hmm.
I didn't. I didn't know that guy was under the Black Tiger name.
Who?
The guy that you're talking about. I thought
No,
he had.
I was picking back off of what you were talking about. The evil personification.
Okay. Well, you knew Black Tiger originally was a New Japan
It,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, that's right. He was the original. And for people that don't know, the second Black Tiger was Rocky Romero running around under the mask carrying that on.
And now we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
But right now is what I'm saying though is I wish that, and I like I said I love nothing but Wildcat does. They're great people. I have nothing but high hopes for what they do. They used to be part of the NWA umbrella. They broke off when everybody else did. They used to be like NWA Wildcat. They've had Booker T there. They've had Rhino. I mean, from the list from top tier to bottom tier goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Luke Hawks is a fantastic promoter. He was on the show Heels that was on Stars. He was up training the wrestlers there. I mean,
That's funny.
that's hilarious. You read it too?
Hey, tell Monica, break out the phone. You can make a meme. Get laughing in his sleep while he's sick.
Yeah, for real. But no, man. The crazy thing is all the backstabbing and the hatred for one another. I don't mind the hatred towards me because all it is a bunch of
Words.
the people that say the words and they say things about me. They don't know me, and they don't hurt me because whenever I see them in person, I guarantee you they won't back it up.
Hmm.
Um, Proven point. Whenever I showed up to the MCW show, I don't go anywhere alone. I just don't. I'm not going to be jumped by 7, 8, 9 guys. Period.
Well,
And
the minute it's not one on one, all rules are off.
thank you.
It don't matter if you got to punch somebody in the throat to survive or break out a weapon. The minute it's not one-on-one, the rules are out the window. It's a street fight. Nothing. You got to kill 6 people to get to one. That's how it rolls.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna go anywhere alone. People are like, oh, that's pussy shit. No, no, it's not. Your boys try to jump in, they're gonna get dealt with.
Yeah, and the only way they got the guts to deal with you is if they in number. Trust me, I know all about that. Whenever anybody's got a conflict with me, and there ain't many, it's always numbers because you ain't got a single guy that could back his own shit up. It's always got to be a group trying to talk or say so, or somebody couldn't do it on their own. It's always, and I'm like, bro, I go to your houses and I bring it to your fucking door. Y'all are nowhere near gonna even try that with me, bro. You're not even gonna try that, and I'm weapon free. So just imagine.
I don't carry a weapon. I don't need a weapon. These right here are lethal weapons. I was trained. I don't go around talking about that because guess what? I already know how people act. Like, for example, I'm going to name drop here, and I don't care if they like me or not. I don't like them. There's a guy named Lucha Lacora.
I'll get to you in a minute, Anthony, about that, WCW question. I'll get you in a minute.
And he was backstage talking about, I'm one does this or this, but when they hit you here, I'm just ready to fight for real. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm staring at him.
That's tough guy talk right there.
Dude, I'm just staring there. And I'm just standing, just looking. And I looked at the guy on the left and I said, is he for real?
That's how I'd have been like, get a load of this jackass.
And I said it out loud. I didn't know that he could hear me, right? And he came up to me thinking he was going to try me or something, dude. And I just stood there. I said, so where you wrestled at? He's like, I wrestled in Wisconsin. I wrestled in Australia. I wrestled over in Europe. I wrestled here and there. My badass decided to do Google search.
Nothing.
Some, not all the shit he said was true. He's like, I'm a former cop. So then I'm like,
oh boy. All you had to do is run him a couple numbers, codes, and just see if he knows what's what.
Dude, he was so full of shit. So full of shit. And when you can read through somebody's bullshit when they're sitting there talking to you and you're just standing there going, yeah, whatever.
I'd have asked him what's a 211.
But he could wrestle. The dude can wrestle.
Everybody knows the obvious, like 134 and 51. Everybody knows that the
187. 187.
Yeah, everybody knows the obvious shit.
Fuck 12.
I ended up true story, and I didn't mean it like that. But one day I was pissed off because I had to get off Interstate 10, and which I used to think was bad, till I learned about Interstate 12. And oh man, I got on the internet, I went, man, fuck 12. And this is right when that became popular to say, and I didn't know any better. So a friend of mine comes on, a friend of me. I'm gonna call him a friend of me. He's an old Ohio State fan. He's a former police officer. He comes on, he says, I don't think you mean what you said. And he explained it to me. I said, no, I don't mean that. I'm not going to say fuck the... When I was a kid, sure. But it's a different world today. We don't know all... It's not what I had to deal with. But I was like, no, I didn't mean that. I meant fuck I-12. This sitting still for 20 minutes and I get to go idle and go right here. Oh, stop. Got to wait another 20 minutes. And 20 minutes later, I was like, this is bullshit.
So Anthony just said it. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Ric Flair that told the story. He wants that. Like, there was a guy in the locker room that constantly overblew his credentials. That's Lucha Lacora. And
there's a lot of people, especially indie and younger, got people that aren't. Most of the time in any business, you're gonna hear the shit talkers are the ones that don't have the experience, that haven't been there, and they haven't proved themselves. They're trying to convince you in your mind that they've proven themselves.
But the dude,
same thing in music.
I mean, he's a great luchador, but he's not really a luchador. The dude ain't even Mexican.
All right, so he's El Nacho Grande meal, or the D minus, the D list version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an NWA, if you want to call it NWA champion or some shit. But
that probably blew this guy's head up.
Yeah, but to be
Anthony, before it gets go ahead, Mike, finish because
go ahead.
All right, I don't want to lose Anthony. Anthony asked a question a while back about where did WCW hold their shows, like the NOLA area. The Nitros were in the dome, my man, in the Superdome itself. Like when there's a great one where Luger racks. It's not when Luger beat Hogan, but Luger's racking somebody, and the two guys in the front row, he's got him and he's racking him in the front. That's hilarious. That was the first time you really see something like that. But yeah,
Of course,
they were not even, they were too big at the time to do the Pelicans. So they could have, but the dome was holding. I mean, this was when Raw and Nitro were at their absolute. Listen, we're talking 97 and 98, you
the
know,
peak, the peak years.
like when Goldberg went to Atlanta in the Georgia Dome and beat Hogan, and it was packed. You know, I mean, yeah, we're talking when and Sting mentioned the Astrodome, which is no more, and our Superdome, which at the time was high tech, not anymore. But he was like, he says, yeah, those coming down on those on that court is fine. Said until you get to the really big ones, he says, man, bring a bucket. He said, bring a bucket with you because you're gonna have to piss your nerves. He said, before you jump and you're at the top of the Superdome, all that. He said the nerves. He said it hits you there. He says because you're
Hmm.
so high up.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, but like getting back to the main topic of what we started with, I wished, I wished that. Uh-oh, I stood a Rat Pack.
Okay, Anthony says there was an old Nitro online once that they were in the old arena for the Pella. Could it have been 99 or after? Or you know what? Not a Nitro. Could it maybe a Thunder? Maybe. And not Saturday night because you have to go smaller than that. But maybe when Nitro was kind of dying out and they only could get 5,000 6,000 people, or possibly a Thunder, they might have been there because let me think. It was called, okay, we have the UNO Lakefront. That is not the UNO Sports Arena was the originally where that was built for the Pelicans. We didn't have the Pelicans for like years and years. We didn't have then they called it the Smoothie King Center. So I'm trying to think when that was built. That because for years, I'm trying to think if that was even built yet. Maybe it would have been brand new and they had a Nitro or Final Nitro in there, but that would have been built. He says, I think you're right. It was a Thursday Night Thunder episode, not Saturday night. It was Thunder. Yeah, a Thunder crowd, a smaller crowd. Like it was probably had just been built, to be honest with you, because we didn't have the a lot of my memories, when me growing up in the '90s, we didn't have the Pelicans. We didn't have a basketball team for ages, and we ended up the Pelicans were the former Charlotte Hornets that we bought.
I'm going to be honest. I just reached out to Sing Fit. I don't care if he watches this or not. I just sent him a DM,
Okay,
and if he accepts it, we'll see him on here in a second, and he'll probably cuss us out and talk shit to us, which
okay.
that's his character. Just saying that for forewarning. That's his character. Don't be anything.
This guy a legit friend of yours or no?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
he's a
I
friend.
like him. Yeah, he's good people.
All right.
Um, but I want to hear his side of it,
Okay.
and
If he
I just
let's because I don't even know you never really explained the story outside of what you know. So
well,
me
you heard the story from Chris.
yeah, but it was part y'all know the ins and outs. I'm just
Okay,
kind of listening through a third ear over here. I really
okay.
don't know who
I
did.
will explain it to you the way I can explain it to you. I don't know what their beef is. I don't care. I wish they would get over it and do business together. I don't care if Suge White hates Chris. I don't care if SingFed hates Chris. The Gulf Coast Wrestling, I hate they have to do the TGCW, but I wish they come up with a better name. But the Gulf Coast Wrestling, they have the Mississippi Rumble coming up. But supposedly he did something that they didn't like, and he said everything was cool with certain people, and then it wasn't cool with certain people.
Was
And
it was it was it a lie or did he go into business for himself?
from what I understand, well, Chris owns the company. He
Yeah, I
owns
know
MC,
that. I know that.
and he stripped the guy of a title. Well, not stripped him, but made him lose the title.
I remember this because the guy was not didn't want to do business and work with the cut, which I can understand. You have to. I had to make a call like that months ago with the guy, but the problem was he said he wanted to quit first, so I took him at his word, and I already had a replacement.
Right,
Then he,
right.
oh, I didn't really want mean what I said. I didn't. Sorry, bro. I'm a man. I mean what I say. Sorry.
But With that being said, I was like, well, I want to hear the other side of the story.
Yeah.
I'm always wanting to know the other side of the story. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go behind someone's back and talk shit to somebody because someone says so. I'm going to confront that person. When someone brings shit to my doorstep and says, hey, so and so is saying shit, and it gets back to me, I'm going to go to that person and go, hey, what the fuck is your problem with me?
Yeah.
Why are you opening your mouth and putting my name in your fucking mouth? Why do
Yeah.
you have the balls to even think about my name in your mouth? You
Dude,
don't have the
yeah.
points. You don't have. I know you. You're a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a bitch, and if I seen you in public, you would run like a little coward.
Yeah, when we
So
were kids, man, like I'd be running around the shop. I'd be at the camp, and somebody would be there, and then the word would come out, "Hey, bro, a certain somebody's driving over here. He's coming for you. He's got a problem with you." That guy would show up. Not there would be nobody taking nobody's back. The guy would show up, come there, handle up whatever. Either you win or you lose, and then leave. And they would
that's
be
what it's
done.
supposed to do.
And they would say it was squashed after, but they come there, not say a word, say is so and so there, send them outside. And the guy I'm thinking of, the one where this particular event happened, the guy went outside, he got his ass kicked, and your boy left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said some shit or wronged him. He says, I'm gonna handle it right now, and he went handle up on him, and he drove away. And I was sitting on the sofa and smoking me a joint, and we were all at the camp at the end of the road, the dead end.
Yeah, and I know you're gonna want. I know you're gonna. He looked at it. He looked at it, and I'm asking him to come on and join us, and because I know he has his say so, and it's like I'm hearing one side of a story, and I want the other side of the story to be told. It's sort of like watching a half movie, man. It's like you hear half of it, and you want to know the other half of the story. Like you want to know the other half of the movie, and you only get half of it. Like watch a Star Wars, for example. You only see one half. You only see the Empire side. You don't even see the Jedi side. All you see is Empire. What about the light side? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
the best thing is to hear both sides. So if you want to determine who you think is right.
I don't care. I want them both to squash their bullshit and get it and do business.
Well,
That's my deal.
it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. But
Oh,
when
it's
you're
gonna
dealing,
happen.
but when you're
It's
dealing
gonna
in business, but when you're dealing in business and money, you're gonna have this one's not happy with this one, or there's this side, and there's competition.
yeah, but
And
I
at the same time, I'm not promoting anybody getting into it with anybody, but let's all just remember when we had Raw and Nitro, we had competition, and then after Nitro was no more, no competition, what
for
happened?
20 years, yeah, everything went downhill, man. But the
Yep.
thing is, backstabbing. Think about it. Like I said, man, House of Glory, Warrior Wrestling, GCW, um, Wrestling Revolver, Pro Wrestling Gorilla when it was up and running, Chikara, um, Wrestler in Hollywood, Wrestlers of Las Vegas, Wrestlers in Memphis. All of these things have one thing in common. They had production value competition. And you know what? They always worked well with one another. They never shit talked anyone. Now,
That you know of, or that I'm sure somebody would have with somebody, but when it comes to business and money, everybody made the smart move and like, hey, let's make more money, let's work together, let's do this.
yeah, but
Yeah.
because it makes more sense. Think about the territory days. All the
Yeah.
territories worked well
Exactly what I
together.
was thinking of. They didn't always get along, but they would come to an agreement and had kind of a board.
Where
And
they worked together.
a couple of times it didn't work. NWA went down more than one, where they were like, all right, we don't agree with this, we're leaving. And then yet again, when Vince decided, I don't care about y'all at all, and then there's been some stuff like that.
Now,
Uh, but
now, for
and
example,
Anthony, that goes to your question. I don't know if the wrestling business has the highest for backstabbing because with wrestling, it's more out loud. Whereas in other business ventures, it's quiet and it's brutal and it's nasty, and then you're gone. You could be a top level executive and they decide, well, let's get this guy because we're going to put this guy in, whether he's my buddy or we could pay this guy less. I know people that work at plants that went to college and have certifications that were there 20, 25 years, loyal company guys, and they decided, hey, let's tell this guy to go, like from top management, make this move and make this call. Oh, you're in trouble now. You did that. We're gonna
Yeah,
have to let you go. And what they do is they hire somebody younger and cheaper. Back, you know, and at that point, you can't get mad or fight. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're out of bread. You're not making money, and excuse me, you have to look for another job. You know, it's all over in the world, Anthony.
but the thing I'm saying though is here locally, man. If these guys could put all their bullshit aside, I'm not talking about Diamond Championship Wrestling. I give two fucks about them guys. But if the GCW and MCW and anybody in that realm that know each other, and like I said, I'm not sticking up for Chris. I'm not sticking up for SyncFet. I'm not sticking up for anyone. I want them to come together and do business because what's best for business is getting along, making money together. Now look at what TNA and WWE are doing. Hell, WWE is even thinking about sending talent in the NWA and probably behind NWA. Because I mean, fuck, why not? NWA sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
That's at this point. I don't care how anybody feels about it. I don't care if they have a weekly YouTube show. I think Wildcat is above NWA when it
They are.
eats.
They are.
And a lot of this is due to Billy Corgan letting his people do stupid stuff and not being willing to spend enough money and get your program. What look at TNA does not have a good product right now, but look at what they've done. They're on a network. They're the number one show on that network, and people are watching. It might not be astronomical numbers. The network just reported this past week they're just like when AEW got on. They're happy. They're happy. They're getting the numbers they want.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's WWE. We need 1,000,003 or 2.4. AEW is not on that level. AEW, the agreement, this for everybody watching. When AEW first started, Dynamite had a 4-year deal. The idea was if Tony Khan at AEW could bring in 400,000 viewers, that's all they asked for. Anything else was bonus. They would have been happy with 400,000. They were getting 7s and 8. They were getting up there. So the network was
Millions.
ecstatic.
They're getting millions when they first started. Millions.
Yeah, the network was ecstatic. Everybody was doing good business. Everybody was happy. And that's why people say, oh, the product's not so good here or there. Oh, they're going to get rid of them or they need to throw them off. They're not going to throw them off because they're still hitting over 400,000 in the views. You're not breaking even. They're winning as far as the deal. And the deal is get over 400K views.
Now, the thing is, MCW, when I went, they didn't have a lot of people in their show. They didn't have a lot of people there
50?
because it was raining. It was raining. It was a terrible.
It was an outside show?
No, it was inside, but it was a rainy night. And
Did they get 50?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a bad for a small no name. 50 is a nice crowd. 10 is when 10 and 15 and 25 and less is when 25 is not bad for some people starting out. When you got 10 people like you in the backyard, that's when it's not good.
All right, I'm gonna
That's
put
when you're in trouble.
SyncFet can actually back me up on this if he would ever join this because I seen where I seen him. But DCW did a show at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum during the bodybuilding and the weightlifting competition. They had a show that was designated for wrestling there. And they had all these seats set up and everything, dude. I was doing commentating at that time. I'm going to tell you, guess how many people showed up? Just guess. This whole Coliseum is full of people.
All right, so this was they already had an event going on. The wrestling was a bonus going on in the event.
Mm-hmm.
But what was now? That doesn't mean it's going to be packed enough. What was the event? Bodybuilding
and weightlifting.
Were there more people that were just like, it's there, let's see what's going on because we're in the building? Or did more people show up?
Just guess how many people were there. Watch it.
I don't know whether to say it's going to be good or bad because I don't know
Just
what
give me your opinion. I will tell you exactly.
I don't know how to guess it because I don't know what the audience is for bodybuilding and weightlifting over there.
Right.
100?
How about 0?
I was going to say it's either going to be bad, like no one's going to show up, or everybody showed up.
Nobody showed up for this shit. Nobody. There was nobody in the crowd except for the people that were there wrestling. Their people were in attendance. That was it.
Well, it's not the. I know where some people look at the logic and think, oh, bodybuilding, weightlifting, wrestling guys with physiques and in trunks. That does not cross. Vince tried that years ago and tried with bodybuilding.
I
But
go
people,
pro, man. I go pro.
yeah, people that are into bodybuilding are not into professional wrestling, and weightlifters are not really into. You have to lift weights to stay healthy and work out and be a wrestler. That's a different crossover. That's a worse crossover audience than me saying someone. And I know there's people in the world. Someone is a dedicated UFC and WWE watcher and watches every show. Somebody watches everything of both companies. I don't. There might be a 5 to 8% on this planet of people that do, or of their audience, 5 to 8%. But the average UFC fan is not going to watch pro wrestling in modern day, and the average pro wrestling fan is not going to watch UFC in modern day. It's not going to happen.
I had friends, man, that would watch UFC fights and then talk shit about wrestling.
Yeah,
And then I had the same people that would watch wrestling shows talk shit about UFC. And I watch both. Okay. I'm not going to go out of my way to go here and sit there and say UFC is not real. UFC's fucking real. Okay. UFC is what we consider the hard way production value. that that is, but when it comes to wrestling people alone, see, UFC bought out a lot of companies. They don't have any competition. They have zero competition. There is no other MMA fighting in the world that can take over UFC.
there is other leagues like UFC, but no one's on that level. It's
Nobody.
very much WWE versus the Indies, and that goes for Bellator and everybody else. It's not the same thing. Now, if we go over and even overseas, UFC can they fall over the world and people from all over the world. If I go to another country, K1 is going to be huge. You're still not going to get a world following in K1 like you will in UFC is the modern day boxing. That's why the
Yeah,
presidents, the celebrities, the artists, everybody shows up to the UFC fights. The big fight.
that's a
That's
takeover.
the real life. That's where Mike Tyson was in his day, and Don King promoting. That's where Dana White and UFC is, and
Yeah,
especially around 2010, that era was huge for UFC.
that's when they
Massive.
started. That's because they started doing their weight classes.
Yeah, they organized it better and all
Mhm.
around the time of Rampage's rise, Rampage Jackson. But the yeah, it was massive. We had a bar at the lake right here, and one guy he convinced the bar owner. He was like, "Look, buy the fight, and I'll get everybody in town to come. They'll come on the Saturday nights. You'll make it back in beer." And everybody you could think of, my age and younger, were out there, packed, packed,
Mhm.
just to bullshit with each other and bullshit. And then the main event would come on. But that was a regular thing for every UFC fight.
Mhm.
And for a while it lasted till the popularity kind of a little bit went down. Just think about if Shane would have got his wish and convinced his dad to buy UFC before they blew up for
Oh,
Dana White.
it'd been stupid, dude. It'd have been stupid. Could you imagine WWE? Well, what happened, Jordan? What happened, Jordan? You left me. You left me, Jordan.
Yo,
You left me hanging, bro.
I reset my internet last night. I don't know what was going on. Every 5 seconds it was on, off, on, off.
Oh,
I
you're
don't know.
good. It's
I
back
don't know
on.
what's going on there, if that was a reset, but I could hear you the whole time. It was blacked out.
Yeah, I got you back. Don't worry, I got you back.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all this stuff going on, it blows my mind that they can't do business together. They. I mean, Suge White's a good dude. I've seen him wrestle. He did a Q&A whenever me and Phil went to the Wildcatter show together. Even Phil asked a question. I guess I don't go nowhere alone, bro.
Um,
Like the TNA show, we're alone. It's just four of us going. But if I was going to be part of the show, like if I was going to be backstage or whatever, which I know some people backstage at TNA, if I wanted to go backstage, I'm pretty sure I can get us backstage after the show because it's a pay per view and they're going to be there they're going to be there the next night doing more shit, and they're going to all be in that one big hub, which I'm pretty sure we're going to probably see some on downtown New Orleans the next day. I'm pretty sure of it.
yeah. Oh,
And,
I
and
I lost the comments, so let me answer Anthony
but go
before
ahead.
it goes away on my screen. He asked me, I still do work in the music industry, by the way, but he said, "Do you think there's more backstabbing in that compared to wrestling?" It's not as much backstabbing as are there's two classes in you got your big name people that are under contracts, signed to record labels, have producers, and you've got the indie guys like us. So it's very much like WWE and the indie pro wrestling, okay? But what they do is any artist over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, what they do is, all right, you make an album, you make music, and it's a hit, it's a seller. They're gonna, as soon as they can. Back in the old days, like before the late '70s, there wasn't that much touring as you'd think. So
Mhm.
you made more money off your albums back then than touring. Today it's completely today with internet streaming, unless you're like Taylor Swift, which is destroying the industry. It's selling albums today. The money is in live attendance and t-shirts, just like wrestling. You're gonna make more money off of if somebody can buy your album on vinyl, if you even at that level, or buy a 25, 30, whatever t-shirts go for today with inflation. They're gonna make more money off that t-shirt and your ticket to go live than you buying the album. But so the backstabbing would be more or less somebody want would if you were on a ticket with some bands and you got removed for somebody to put their friend's band in, or that's the level of backstabbing. It's not all the time. Usually you don't want to do that kind of stuff because it gives you a bad rep because a lot of people know each other, and that helps and that hurts. But yeah, like in the big leagues, what they would do is and he would make an album pretty much some of the early artists an album, two albums in a year if they were at the beginning and the end. They would use you until you'd fall apart. So the idea was make a killer album. All right, make another killer album. All right, work you to death and until you burn out and you don't have any material or you can't go where the band can't get along or fall apart. So it's more of the execs and the labels care about you as a property and their money more than your health and well being. So that's the difference in the music industry of the big leagues of it. And the smaller time stuff, it's not backstabbing as much as some towns and some places have their people on lock and they won't let someone else in or you can't get in. There are areas like that with certain types of music and like there's a city, I won't say what it is.
Mhm.
It's not really one to mess with, but they're known for having cover bands and they have their select cover bands they use. And unless you're from the other side of the globe, if you could be like an hour away, you might not get in. They might not let you in to play or give you a shot. They might not. And they're gonna stick to who they know and what they know and what's a draw instead of and that's on venue owners right there. You kind of have to take a chance sometimes and try people out. You don't want a complete flop, but you gotta be willing to try these like small time ballrooms. I mean, we're gonna get back to the wrestling. I don't mean to hold y'all up, but
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
like small time ballrooms have like, all right, let's say they're a regular watering hole, small bar, and every Saturday or every other Saturday they'll have a $5 band. You're gonna walk in and they for 4 hours they're gonna play, and it'll be some variety band or cover music. The um you're not doing that to try to make $1 million if you're a hole in the wall bar. You're doing it as a service to your fan. I'm saying fans. You're doing this as a service to your customers and your regulars, giving
Mhm.
them entertainment and keep coming back. Please spend money. Please buy drinks. Buy your girl drinks. Gamble. So I remember for years ago in the 2000s we had people that were trying to get rich or trying to make bank off it. I'm like, no, you should be happy you break even because the idea is you're doing this as a service to your clientele. You're hoping to bring more people in that normally don't come. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll even come drink during the week and spend some money. You're giving the people that come all week some entertainment that don't have any. So I mean, and then so the idea is not to get rich off of this, or I'm making profit. The idea is to it's a if you break even, you didn't lose anything. So that's pretty much what it. And on with a lot of things, people think, oh, they sell so much beer, they made so much money. You only make double digit cents selling a beer. I remember when I first started going to bar rooms when I was 18, bar owners made 9 cents off of a Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we're talking like 2002. You made and a few years after that, you made 9 cents. I knew one guy, he had connections. He bragged because he got to make, I think, 18 cents a bottle because he had some connections and he owned this place. And that was like big money. The money's in hard liquor. That's what I know. You know this already, Mike. The money's in mixed drinks and hard liquor because you sell a couple of those, you got the bottle paid for already. And you've only got this much out the bottle. You still got a whole bottle. That's where the money is, and poker machines today. But that's that. Yeah, video poker, which I know not everybody has that. In Louisiana, that's a staple. Every ballroom, every gas station, every restaurant has those 3 poker machines. Because that's all about gambling down
I'm
there.
gonna go piss and pull a handle at the same time.
I mean, they're directly linked. That's the cops' money right there. The casinos and the poker machines are all directly linked to the state troopers. If I get in a fight with Mike and I push him hard enough into the poker machine, silent alarm goes off, and every state trooper it gets that alert, and the nearest one is to respond. That's how that works.
Dude, the bad thing about it is, I just want to hear the other side of the story to why I got on here earlier, because hearing one side of the story just makes my mind go, what the fuck? You know, I want to know all of it. And I don't care if it's bullshit on both ends. I don't care. Because the way I look at it is a bunch of kids playing grown ups. Wrestlers have the biggest egos, and they're a bunch of babies. They
I
are.
could I could say the same about, and not everybody, but people in the music, especially the smaller time people that haven't made. Everybody's got to try to prove themselves, and they think by
Mhm.
talking and a big talk, a big act, that it. Somebody told me the other day they were like they were talking about a person I know, and they were saying somebody needs to tell that person that fake it till you make it don't exist. Yeah, that's not real life, and that don't work like that. This makes you a fraud and a bitch. And I said, that's very true. Said this to me, and I said, you know what? You're on the damn money for not knowing what you're talking about. I told her that, but I was like,
Mhm.
you're on the damn money. I said, that's absolutely right.
The bad thing
What's
about it is,
what's the point of playing a big, huge venue or a notable venue with a reputation if you play to no one in there? That just makes you look like shit. The place will never book you again. And honestly, if you're hurt, that makes them think, oh, these people have hundreds of thousands of followers. Original music's no good. Okay, don't book that for 6 months till your book. No, that hurts everybody in the business. And there's a lot of people with not enough respect to realize that. They'll do what they want, but they don't realize they're hurting every other band has an opportunity to go there, won't have that opportunity anymore. And I've watched that happen.
I see more bands. I have friends in bands here locally. You know this, Jason Few, and I've seen bands come along with him and his band break up. More backstabbing inside of a band than anything. I don't understand that.
I can explain it to you with ease. And I use this example to tell everybody. And this doesn't matter if you're the best man in the world, if you get along perfect, if you don't get along perfect. How hard is it in modern day or in anywhere in life, but especially today? How hard is it to find one good girl, Mike, that you're going to be with? Or that, all right, how hard is that?
It's fucking hard, dude.
All right, now we're looking for marriage material, okay? You got to find that one woman that fits you that you're going to marry that you're not planning on divorcing, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, multiply that by 3 to 4 people. That's all like different women. Now, I expect them all to get along together. That's a band.
Mm-hmm.
Try to find three, 2, 3, 4 people that you can travel with, get on a road with, that can all agree, that can fight and argue and get back good. Try that. That's why it's so fucking hard.
Dude, that's why I couldn't be in a band. Because there's so much this.
And
You're-
sometimes yes, sometimes no. The big problem I'm noticing today is people in multiple bands are going to have priorities, and they rather. This is new to me because I've never seen this before, and I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Instead of everybody sticking with the product that's the best one, the one that obviously glowingly doesn't matter if it's your creation or not, the one that's the better one, you would think that's what you would go with, the one that brings the more people, the more value, the more attention, the more money. You would think back in the day, you would like your friends. You would think a bunch of friends would be together and say, "I got you back. I got you back in this fight." Now it's more like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm cool," and then, "Oh, I don't want to be. No, I don't know how I'm with y'all." And it's like, what kind of backstabbing, weak ass bull? It's like that's people that are not that don't know how to be in a band, and that's ridiculous. And they think they're being loyal to maybe what they were with first or their own idea. Not when it's a dud. Not when it doesn't do well. And yeah, you might have a group of people telling you it's okay, but that group
it's
of people
not.
live in a box. See, the music people are trying to do this along the Gulf Coast, and I don't like it at all. I've already said I'm not. I have zero ties to them now because it's a cancer. It's politics. It's trying to control the situation, and it's an invasion. You don't
Mhm.
come to someone else's state. I don't care what you think you were from. You don't come to somebody else's state and say, "Oh, we are the thing for music." You follow it, bro. I'm a part of the Louisiana Federation of Music, which is a part of the National Federation of Music Clubs, which is over 100 years old.
No sound. Can you hear me, Jordan?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right. Something happened on Anthony's end.
Yeah, it's on his end. He might have to refresh or something. Um, but I I'm in that same boat with you on the music situation because I was friends with a guy in a band. I'm not going to say the names or anything. He was a drummer. They kicked him out of this band. He went and joined another band. They kicked him out of that band. But his was all because of drugs, powder.
Yeah, that's you can't gripe about that. When you that messes everything up, that hurts everything. And I mean, the best thing I could just suggest to somebody, I can't tell people what to do and not do. If you're on drugs, get in a band full of guys on drugs. That way
Mm-hmm.
y'all can all have the same agenda. But that's the best thing I can tell you. But I know it's no good because it goes back to you, Scarface. Never get high on your own supply. And your supply is the money you're making. And even though a lot of these bands, some of these people do it so they don't have to have a job. Back in the day, people were in bands just to be on drugs. That was the way
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have to work and they'd make a little bit of bread just to get their drugs. I was never about that at all. I'm not gonna put anybody down for it, but it doesn't mean I have to be okay or agree with it either. Now, if if that's their lifestyle and they're on a bill with me and they play in another band and they play fine and no problem. You're not gonna hear a word out of me. You play your set with your band, I'll play mine. If you're that's not my business, your personal life choices, as long as it doesn't hurt the show. You could go about your merry way and have as much booger sugar or whatever as you like.
Booger sugar.
Yeah, you could do whatever you like as long as it doesn't affect the show. I had a friend who he was a notorious drunk, make mistakes on stage, whatever, falling down for it. I was like, dude, chill out on the drinks, get up there, play your fucking set, make sure all the equipment is picked up in the trailer in a vehicle. Once everything's picked up, have at it. Once that's all covered, do what you want,
Fuck
but
that.
get the job done first.
Yeah.
Play your show, get all the equipment out. It doesn't matter if you're the last band or you got to get off of somebody else. Get it done and get out, and get everything picked up. Okay, now you want to get caught, go right on ahead. Our job is done. We're out anybody's way. Our equipment's safe. We're picked up, parking and whatever vehicles good. Go do what you got to do now.
And that's the
This
thing, man. Like
Business
most,
before pleasure.
yeah, take care of your shit. And that's what I'm talking about in wrestling too, man. Like the GCW and MCW and any other company around here that wants to work with one another and then shoot each other in the foot. Do business. Then after business is done, then talk about the problem.
Or do like I do. You don't like somebody, just I don't like you. I'm not working with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm gonna tell you how it is. But guess what? I'm not working with you. I don't like you and I won't work with you. So I'm not doing it. I'm
yeah,
going in another direction.
and that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm like, yeah, don't ask. I can't. Someone does me something wrong. No, I can't trust you. I'm not working. I'll never call you. Someone asks my do it. I'm like, got to play with that. I'm like, I really don't want to.
and just like you were saying about the CB situation, you know, the guy that wanted to help him and then he owes him a lot of money. I don't know how true that story is. You know, and personally, I don't care because that dude ain't never done nothing to me. You know, but he's had a heart attack in the middle of the ring before. He's passed out in the middle of the ring before. I mean, he's had some serious health issues.
Is
He's a
is this
liability.
is this guy ill or is he on stuff?
That's the thing. Nobody knows. They
If
don't
you
know if it's health related or if it's self induced. If you know what I'm
Well, I
saying.
mean, well, health related. The first thing is get out the ring and go get some medical treatment before you.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't cry when a company has to let you go because you're a liability to them. That you first thing if you're not healthy and got yourself right, you can't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're going to bring down the whole company and the whole show. And no, it's not. But I need money. I need this and that. No, you need to go get yourself taken care of if you want to come back in and work for the company.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like you said, drug induced, bro, you got one chance. Get off the shit or you're fired. And if you're a bigger company, you're fired if you're on it or a warning, whatever. I mean,
Dude, they got mad at me because I jumped the rail one time. A dude took a move and he couldn't get out of the ring. I was part of the wrestling production. I was basically the security dude. Whenever he threw up the X, guess what my job was? I jumped over the ring barrier. You know what I'm saying? I jumped over the barricade and I said, "What's up?" He's like, "He can't move." I said, "No problem." I ran to the back and said, "Hey, get your ass out there. The motherfucker can't move."
yeah.
So I took my job seriously. And I did that all the time. I always went above and beyond my call of duty. I took shit seriously because I don't care if people run their mouth behind my back. That's cool. That's fine. I mean, because you're a piece of shit because you can't bring it to my face. And whenever they did bring it to my face, it was always a point of, hey, man, let me talk to you. If you can just talk to me, that's fine. But if you're going to bring something to me and pull on me, yank me, push me, we got issues. I had a dude yank me by the collar one time, and it took everything I had not to knock his head off. I had 4 people holding me back from hurting that dude. I just cussed him out to his face, and I cussed out his homeboy too. Don't fucking touch me. I don't like you. You don't know me. You don't put your hands on me. You can, by the way, you can get the fuck out of here. I'll leave. I ain't got to put up with it. Oh, you didn't get here until the time was about to start. I don't give a fuck. I show up when I show up. I've been busting my ass. You're new, motherfucker. Get used to it. You know, that's the way I played it. And everybody's like, oh, you're a diva. No, man. I know my role. I'm good at what I fucking do. But I've posted my commentary. I'm good. I'm not the best in the world, but I'm fucking good. But when it comes to other people pulling my chain, yanking me around, then it was a whole different story. That's where I took offense. Now, whenever these other people, when it's promotional wise, whenever it's coming together to do something big, why not collaborate? Why not bring shit together? MCW versus the GCW. Boom, worlds collide.
In
Why not
something
do
in
something?
something like that, it makes sense because you can have a versus. That's where your money is. Yeah, you can have a company, but so there's something to do there. In my situation, that's you don't
Battle
you
of the
don't really,
Bands.
it's not going to be a comp. I mean, and yeah, there's always musicians that are eyeing what people are doing and judging them and thinking, oh, I'm better than this one. There's always people that do that crap. But I mean, it all comes down to can you get out there and play and perform.
Mm-hmm.
We got one guy that thinks he's the metal savior, and that guy couldn't grab a guitar and play an entire normal song. He couldn't play Happy Birthday or Row Your Boat to save his life.
Some people can. Some people can't.
Well, it's ridiculous. You don't tell me you're a musician if you can't pick up an instrument and play a 3-year-old song. Like that's just a real musician could get up there and play with any band and do it. Like
dude.
tell them 12 bar blues and a key, and everybody on every instrument can play along with each other. Some of
I'm
these
a
people can't do a damn thing.
I'm a pimp on a recorder, motherfucker.
You a what? A
I'm a
pimple
pimp. I'm a pimp on a recorder.
on? We don't want to know about you playing skin flute, Mike, but okay. I had to get
Oh,
you.
whatever, man. Whatever. I'm just saying that was my music, dude. I'm telling you, that was my music back in the day.
All right, so you
Middle
get down with
school.
some Jethro Tull, bro.
No, I don't like that type of
You
music.
bought your flutes, bro.
I'm not about my flutes, bro. But I'm telling you, I was a pimp on a fucking recorder, bro. I had my own solo.
Good Lord. So you
It
was
was
like
terrible.
Anchor. You was like your boy in Anchor Man with the flute.
But no, man, I can play shit. Hell, that's an instrument, damn it.
Yeah.
It's an instrument.
Anthony, not that many lived to this. Short of Keith Richards, there's not that many old time. And Ozzy lived pretty good considering he made it in this, where he made it. But there's not that many that lived that long. We got people dying left and right. I mean, all ages. Some people I know personally, not even in music, have
Mhm.
from when we were in high school to in their 20s to the 30s was insane. So many people OD'd and died. That
Yeah,
the,
man.
the fentanyl came in and all of a sudden back in the day when people just would smoke weed and do a little extra stuff for ecstasy, all of a sudden heroin and crystal meth was homemade crystal meth was the big thing. And I had to stop hanging around with a lot of people because I'm like, I can't be around that, man. I quit that life. I don't hang around people in that life. I left that life over 20 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you in a bar, shake your hand, and all, but no, I can't go hang out at your house when that's what you do. That's not my life.
We can roll the
You can
green,
do
but
whatever you
hold on,
want, but that
man.
ain't my life.
You can roll the green, man, but that's about it with me, man. Roll the
Yeah,
green and
yeah,
drink some beers.
yeah. Beer and weed is fine, but no, they all stuff we wouldn't, like heroin. That wasn't a thought. We were in high school. The drugs we had at the time, it was you went to school to get drugs. Everybody was into that, but heroin was the first
Shrooms, acid, weed,
pills,
cocaine,
pills.
pills,
Pills and X were
acid.
big in the era I went, and the techno boom, and also that was all massive in like around 2000 and all of that. That was
Dude,
massive. But
I never got invited to any raves when I went to high school. Never got invited to any of them.
I wish I used to make the joke that I wish I had a penny for every time I was offered an X pill and turned it down. Then I said I wish I had yeah, that's what I would say. I wish I had a penny, not even a dollar, a penny for every time I turned down like all those hardcore drugs. I was like, I'd be a rich man.
Dude, I never got offered any of it. I sold a lot of it. Dude, I sold a lot of X. I sold a lot of pills. I sold a lot of fucking acid. A lot of weed. But I never did any of it. Like you said, never get high on your own supply. And it wasn't
Yeah.
my supply. I was getting supplied with. So
I was
and,
I was I was a big weed smoker. I would smoke for hours and take a 20-minute break not smoking. That's how we lived every day. And we had pounds of the shit. I just ride around and they all had it on them all fucking time.
yeah, that's different, man. But here you talk about wrestlers now, man. That's all they do. That's whenever they do talk to a promoter, what's the first thing they ask? All right, the money's cool, but can you get me this? Can you get me that? I need a bottle of this. I need a bottle of
Well,
that.
that's why the major league wrestling organizations today are very far away from what it wants. So it's not like it was in the 90s and before. I mean, ECW's locker room was a drug haven. We know that. And WCW could get away with a lot more that the WWF couldn't after their steroids, the scandal and all that happened. The main thing was after Eddie died and Chris died, the big crackdown on drugs, not just CTE, but that changed a lot of the business, and WWE was like, all right, we gotta follow these rules. This government mandated. You don't have people on all kind of stuff anymore like you once did.
No,
Not at
and,
all.
and the crazy thing is now, man, like you see wrestler RIP due to overdose, due to suicide. That's the biggest two you see is suicide and overdose. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I was watching the porn chicks obituaries the other day on YouTube, and the surprisingly, this just shows you how dangerous. One of the most common deaths, traffic accident, cars. That was the
Hmm.
most innocent, but the one of the most, if not number one, number two, but drugs and overdose and suicide.
Yeah, drugs and suicide,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah, all of
that's
that, and
crazy.
vehicular accidents. That's
Yeah,
what the whole list. Every now and again, you come up with somebody that had
part of
cancer,
that.
or yeah, but yeah, all of that. Every now and again, you get a cancer or leukemia, something like that, or kidney failure. But it's all like drug overdose, suicide, and vehicular accidents.
Hmm. Hell, look at what's her name? What's her name? She's in prison now for with a vehicular manslaughter.
So, Sonny,
Yeah, vehicular
Tammy Lynn,
manslaughter.
Tammy Lynn Sitch, yeah, she's well, I mean, I didn't see her walking away from it. I don't care how good of a lawyer you have, and yeah, the man was she was completely intoxicated and killed the man,
Oh yeah, 100%.
and and she had previous
DUIs.
offenses. Yeah, it wasn't like number one. If it had been number one, she might have got. They might have
A
told
lesser
her
sentence.
20. They might have told her 20 years, and then cut. They might have cut her some slack as the years went on, and she got an early release. She might have done 12 probably, but not when they've told you. I had a friend. He just went. He's pretty much in jail for life now. He got in 5 noted DUIs. He had 6, but he ran away from one. But he got in 5 DUIs, and his family was law enforcement, and they kept behind the scenes.
Hmm.
He was driving around with a breathalyzer, and he started going to the bar again. He was actually allowed. They gave him back his license. He had a breathalyzer. He gets somebody else to blow in the car, and he was drinking. He went after one dude, tried to beat his ass. This dude leaves the bar after he had just the week before got an altercation, and the bar. I won't say who it was. It wasn't my local bar, but this bar covered for him and didn't do nothing to the other guy. I was in, and they covered for him. The very next week, he leaves the bar. They estimated he was going between 80 and 90. He hit a car with 3 girls that were nursing college, and car caught fire, and all 3 of them burned to death.
Oh, it's into him, dude.
Well, that happened. He's standing there perfectly fine. He
Oh, he's
he
done.
he walks out of, well, Mothers Against Drug Drivers. They were like, oh, he did. Oh, wait a minute. This guy has had 5 days. Why is he behind a wheel at all and not in jail? Our law now is, they changed it years ago. Our law now is 3 DUIs. That's
Yeah, it gets a
mandatory
felon.
jail, and you lose. Your license is gone for like 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
You can't
and
have a
so they,
CDL either.
no, and so they came down, and that was 3, and they found out all 3 of the girls, none of them were drinking. They were all
Of course,
clean.
of course not. I'm gonna tell you another story. My cousin, man, he's dead now. This is a true story. Um, it was 3 days after Christmas, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. He was driving down this road, hit another car oncoming. Like, it's a two-way road, one going this way and the other one coming this way,
That's exactly how this wreck was.
and they hit head on.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly what this was. Only that car caught fire and they burned to death.
well, both people in both cars were drinking. They're both dead. And the family of not my cousin, but the other family, because both cars ended up in his lane, they were suing my family, my aunt and uncle, because the cars were ending up in his lane.
Yeah, they're gonna try to get money out of it and blame. Yeah, see what they can
And
do.
and the funny thing is, the courts were like, they're both drinking, they're both intoxicated, they were both under the influence, and they both died.
Yeah, technically it cancels each other out because they were both at fault.
Yep.
I
And
know I know where you're coming from with it.
and the thing is, if wrestlers do it all the time, I mean, he'll look at Jey Uso. Hell, he's been in what? How many DUIs?
And the Hardys, look at all the drug charges and the dealing
Jeff
charges they've gotten with Jeff.
Jeff
Yeah.
Hardy. Well, join in, dude. What's up, Metal Trooper?
Who we looking at here?
That is Josh.
Oh, yeah. Josh is listening to story time. I think we're gonna. Everybody that's still watching, we have news. We'll just cover it tomorrow while we're
Yeah,
bullshitting today. We have plenty of news that happened in the week. Big stuff to do with WWE, AEW, and more. But we'll get into that tomorrow night for the Tuesday night riot.
yeah, Tuesday Night Riot, and we miss you, brother. Well, we went live, and we knew you were sick, so we weren't going to try to like hold you up and bring you on and make you sit
Yeah,
here
I
and
talked
do.
I talked to Monica, and she was like, "You was
And
supposedly you were laughing in your sleep, so you might not have been feeling too bad for that one point."
if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome to. The link is in the chat.
Let me look at the clock, and because I know we like to get around 2 hours, but we just been tying it all back to wrestling, but real life shit, bullshit. We were
Yeah,
gonna do the news, but we got onto this. You know what? Without y'all here, we'll just do the news tomorrow if you feel better and Phil can join us.
yeah, and we started late anyway because Wendy sucks. They gave me free food though. See, I got free food still.
Yeah, we're
So
running pretty. We're running pretty good.
yeah, we're running pretty good.
Yeah.
We understand. We
Yeah, we
understand.
know. And I know you probably got to. I told Monica leave you sleep because you probably got to go to work tomorrow and make that Skrilla. So I was like, let him rest.
Let him rest, man. Let him rest. And hell, you're all the way in Indiana anyway, so we love you, brother, and we want you to get better. But no, man. I mean, we were talking about basically the Gulf Coast wrestling scene here, man, and I wish that they could just put their shit together and or put it aside and work together. And the sad thing is, if they did, business would be so much fucking better. I mean, so much better. Hell, you got the GCW wrestling out of a damn high school gymnasium, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake, dude. Get out of the high schools. Get out of the. First off, and this is no disrespect, even the New South does it, and they getting away from the high. They do the high school thing to promote or to send money to the. They do 100% charity for the school to send the kids to like Disney World or like band
So,
camps
so
or
it's for
something.
good causes. Good
Yeah,
causes. All right.
yeah, and I had no problem with that. That's great. But when you're taking money, if you're doing a show at a gymnasium at a high school and you're doing it to get revenue for yourself, then I got a problem.
Yeah, that's well. I have seen small. Not recently. Years ago, I saw small time companies go and use a high school gymnasium in the evening. But it's like, yeah, I know you did that at one time, but I mean, today you kind of feel almost like, hey, you should throw a little something up to the school. But the real question is, how much are they really making? And.
I mean, if you pack it out,
Yeah, but who are you really gonna realistically pack a high school gymnasium with wrestling fans? Are we gonna hope for 50 around the ring?
well, I know when I went to one several years ago, and it was over across the bay. It was at a high school gymnasium, and they set it up to where the front row was $25 a ticket, which wasn't shit. I went because the girl I was seeing at the time, she had never been to a wrestling show, and it was a legit wrestling show. It was pretty good. And they had what's his name with the lollipop that used to wrestle in WWE came out with the bus, whatever it was, with the where Braun Strowman got his first thing.
Yeah, Adam Rose,
Yeah, that guy, and he was the main draw. And
the main draw.
I mean, that was their moneymaker then, dude. I mean, it
You
was
you
that
would have
was
been
it.
better off with having Fandango.
Hey, I like Johnny Curtis, man. He's good. Um, but good friend too, good guy. But the thing is, whenever all that was going around, I was like, okay, cool. The show was decent. The show was decent. It wasn't terrible. He still had the same gimmick as what's his name that can't wrestle no more because of Joey Ryan. Because he had a lollipop in the pants and he'd bring it out and put it in people's mouths.
Yeah, Joe. That was. I don't care what era it was. That was Joey Ryan's gimmick was kind of messed. I remember a sign, a flyer saying for $20 you could touch it. Like Joey Ryan was really, he
About
really
that
like,
life. He
yeah,
was about that life, bro.
for a meet and greet, you give him $20, he will let you touch his junk. I'm like, bro, you that's a little too much right there. Then I don't
A
know
lot
if
of
you had
people did
heard
it. A lot of
what
people did it.
I know that women did it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's insane. But the crazy thing was after all the Me Too movement and all that happened, you heard what he went doing when the way they found him working. You heard, right?
Disney World or
The
Disneyland.
jungle, the jungle cruise at
Cruise.
Disneyland in California. It's like, nah, you don't need to be around kids, bro. After all of this, no, 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 you getting out of here.
But he never got fired. He quit.
I heard that they found out someone put the information of who he was and they released him. That's what I read.
Oh, they fired him?
That they let him go because of his situation, but they didn't realize that he was under his real name. They didn't realize that him and the Joey Ron character were the same human being. And then they were like, no, we can't have you around kids with these alligators and all this stuff. They were like, we got to let you go.
Yeah, but dude, he was never found guilty in court of law. I don't care
No,
what anybody says. He was never tried on anything.
no, he
Ever.
wasn't. The biggest crying shame to me, and people argue about this. I understand personal. I understand everybody's morals. Everybody is their own individual, but I'm gonna bring up Marty Skrull. I think he's the biggest casualty of everything. And my problem with that is, and people are like, "Oh, you're defending him, you're better." No, in his country. Now, first of all, he did not know the age of the girl. Second, in his country where they
Legal.
were, it is legal. Legal. That does not mean you are 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old man, whoever you are, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. She was, what it was, 16 or 17?
16 years old.
16. That is your moral compass and how you were brought up in your country. Now, I'm not saying he already was like, I didn't know her age. She lied. She said she was 18.
We'll get
Okay.
to that in 1 second, Anthony. I got some news about that one in a minute.
But my problem with it is he's not guilty in his country. He admitted that it was wrong and that she lied about her age, and he never had to go to trial, but he's blacklisted from wrestling. And I think it's bullshit. And people are like, oh, how could you get it? Okay, fine. You're a 40. Let's say we got a 42-year-old man here,
Pause for
and
1 second. Just
he's got
pause.
a problem because it's an 18-year-old girl and he's looking at it like a daughter. I understand that, but it's not your. It's, okay.
Pause for a second. All right. Here in the States, every state has a legal limit. They're all not 18 across the board. Tennessee is 13 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Florida is 14 years old.
Yeah.
Alabama is 16. Mississippi is 14.
We're
Texas,
we're 17 to 18 over here.
see, all around this Bible Belt, this fucking weird shit, every age is different. Every state has its own.
And to explain that, then it's first of all, these are old laws that were passed. The reason I'm going to give a reason on this, and everybody's going to say this is kind of sick thing. No, back in the 20s and before that, in the 1900s, human beings didn't live very long. Okay. Plus, when you were younger, by the time you was 15, you were working. And by the time you were 30, you were either a rich person who didn't have to do physical labor or didn't have health issues. You were lucky to live past 30.
Mm-hmm.
The world we did not live long. People did dangerous jobs. There was no OSHA and safety requirements. There was no, you must be of legal age. So it was as old as you are to work, you go. You go. That's what you do. If you could be in New York on a scaffolding with nothing to save you and build that, that's what you did.
Another one. Here we go. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
Great Balls of Fire. Married his second cousin?
And she was what, 13?
He was in his 20s or 30s at the time?
Elvis had an underage girlfriend. Elvis did.
I mean,
but back in those days, and if y'all really want to go back, look at the classic Disney stories. All those princesses, no, not Walt, because these stories weren't made by Disney. Stories like Cinderella and that all comes from books like Grimm's Brothers. Those princesses are all 13, 14, 15, and the men are all over 18. At that point in time, you went for an older man because you had something. But besides that, people just didn't live that long unless you were royalty or rich. You didn't. It was 7 days a week. You work like a dog. That's why people didn't find out how dangerous cigarettes were for generations after, because no one lived long enough to catch lung cancer. That's why back then everybody smoked. Women smoked, men smoked. It was a trend. Everybody smoked non-filtered cigarettes.
Those commercials of cigarettes on television.
Yeah, you didn't have anybody that would live long enough to die from all of that. Like I said, the average age, a lot of working men died in their 20s. Yeah, my grandparents were both born in 27. My mom's parents, they're the younger two. They were both born in 1927. They married at 15, and my grandpa went immediately into his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked at a slaughterhouse. And the owner found him in the corner crying. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And he spoke French. He couldn't speak English. He went to school one day in his life, and they locked him in the closet because he couldn't speak English. His first language was French.
Mm-hmm.
So he never could read or write. You know how to write simple, but he couldn't read or write. He went there and he got that job. He was hiding because thought he would get fired. He was too small to lift the cow on the scale. The boss man that after he saw that, he said, "You're not fired," and he introduced their first hydraulic lift. And my grandpa stayed working for him until 72 years old, had a world record for hand butchering on the floor with no power tools. Whole cow cut clean and done in 9 minutes. Probably been beat today. And he worked and he sold all across the state and the country his products. He ran the whole place. When my grandpa finally died and got out, the place went down. He ran that place from 15 to 72 years old. Yeah, that's why. And they had a farm. They lived like that. That's probably half the reason he survived and they survived was they ate natural farm food. We didn't have all the chemicals like today, the processed junk, the pollution. So that's probably why they were able to live.
Hence
They
what
both,
I'm eating.
yeah, not good for you, but that's probably why. And I find they both died young. They both
Mm-hmm.
passed in the early 70s, but when they were done, they were done. But yeah, I think that's why they made it as long as they did, because not only did he have a good paying job and all that, but they didn't eat all the junk.
No, they didn't.
And
And the crazy,
he smoked his whole life, never had lung cancer either.
and that's been proven. Certain people can get lung cancer. Some people can't.
It's hereditary.
Yeah.
And we all have cancer in us. First of all, we all have a little bit. Every one of us. It's hereditary. It's just like genetics, like balding, like things like that. It's genetics, and that's how cancer is. It will happen to you, it won't. It can be induced.
Cholesterol, high blood pressure, all hereditary.
I didn't know mine would be hereditary because the age gap and no one lived or knew about all that. But I have all that.
Mm-hmm.
On medicine and I'm good, but I have all that.
Yeah. I mean, there's medicine that can counteract the bullshit, but that's neither here nor there. We're getting on a whole different subject.
Right. We're just covering a little bit of everything. But hey, Mike, we have time to waste because we know we're not near the 2 hour mark yet. So
we're good. We're good.
Did you want it? Was it you that wanted to talk about the Velveteen Dream? Some news
I
on
want
him?
to talk about the Velveteen Dream, but I also want to talk about something else before we get to the Velveteen Dream situation. Because Velveteen Dream is another situation where I would love to get his ass on here and talk about all his shit too. Because he went on a podcast and basically said his innocence and everything and apologized for all the misconceptions and all that. He was arrested after he got out of the WWE. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's finally getting arrested and he's going to prison for all the accusations." Man, it was drug related. All the shit he got arrested for was drug related.
And yeah, it was when he was driving and they pulled him, and all that was because his career was over. I'm sure he didn't feel great. Not taking up him, but this is something a lot of people in this world need to realize, especially with social media. Just because a piece of paper says some words, it's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
And not everybody that's ever been proved guilty is actually guilty.
That's true, too. That is true. There's times where they've had to admit the system failed this person. There's been people locked up for 10, 12, 20 years, and they have to release them. And they're like, all you get is we're so sorry, we failed. Then it's like.
But they can't rebut. See, my whole situation was, I didn't know about appeals. I was young. I was in my early 20s. I got dealt a raw deal. I knew I
Your
wasn't
lawyer
good.
should have been on top of that to have
My
you.
lawyer was a drunk, dude. My lawyer was a judge and drunk. He didn't give a fuck about me, bro. I did all my own research on my own case. It was a shit show. I'm not sitting here trying to debate how I should have went about it. They gave me a plea bargain that would have basically kept me out of prison, kept me out of jail, kept me off probation and everything. And I declined it because I was innocent. And whenever I got sentenced, I served a whole 167 days in jail and prison together. And when I got out, I was supposed to serve 2 years probation. I served a whole 6 months. My probation officer gave me 3 lie detector tests. And on the third lie detector test, she cried. And I was crying because I was 24 years old, dude. And by the way, I was 22, or I'm sorry, 21 when I caught the case, or 22 when I caught the 21 when I caught the case. And I didn't go to trial until 23. And at my 24th birthday, right before my 24th birthday, I was sentenced. And my DA at the time that was his last case because he got served papers for having child pornography on his work computer. A DA. And if you think I'm lying, you can search Steve Giardini, Mobile District Attorney, and see everything.
Me and you talked about that already, but that's
Yeah,
just so fucked up.
so fucked up. And I didn't get an appeal because I know nothing about appeals, man. I'm young, dumb, and naive.
Your parents just trusted the law and didn't ask no questions, nothing.
Dude, my dad spent $15,000, bro.
Yeah.
Good night. Well, but the thing was, after that, I was I was in the clear for whatever.
All right, Anthony.
Good night, brother. We'll see you tomorrow night. And I was, I mean, I was hit, and I was like, damn, dude, I'm gonna be looked at as a pariah on the world. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, I
I
mean,
mean,
you still get hate from people that don't know any better, you know?
dude, and they don't understand, dude. I was set up from get go. I was set up from Jump Street. There was no proof. There was a piece of paper. There was no DNA. There was no physical evidence. There was no recollection.
There was
There was
one
no,
convincing actor on the stand.
oh yeah, 13-year-old kid crying, pointed, done completely, dude. There is no way in the world I was going to, dude. If Jesus Christ Himself would have came down from the heavens above, jumped in that courtroom, I would have still been found guilty.
It's just
And I
fucked
know
up.
this from the right hand of my God. I know that because I was on the stand and they were trying to sit there going, "You did this," and I was like, "No."
Yeah, but that's the prosecution's job, whether you're innocent or guilty, is to drill you into admitting guilt, to saying that to get you to falter your story. You know, just like the defense's job is to try to save your ass, and he didn't do a good job.
Fuck no, dude. He left me up there to rot, dude. And he's like, "You did this, and if it was your sister that went through this, what would you want?" I was like, "First of all, whoever did that to my sister deserves to go to jail for real." And they put off my sentencing once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a lady. And every time I went back, they were trying to get it all thrown out. My stupid ass and my dad, I jumped up like a complete dumbass and went down to the front of the courthouse and said, "I'm just ready to get it over with." And hindsight being what it is now, that is a dumbass mistake to make.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you were young, you just didn't have any help to get through it and understand the
Dude,
technical.
I didn't. Dude, they tried to hit me up with 20 counts of rape, bro. 20 counts of rape. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't even been with that many women at the time, homie.
Yeah,
And
so,
oh, dude, it was a fucking travesty. I didn't know what to do. The girl I was with at the time was 19. Barely, dude, and and whenever she was 17, I stayed the fuck away from her until she turned 18.
mhm.
When she hit 18, all bets are off, motherfucker. You an adult.
Some stuff like that happened around my high school era. They had some girls that were starting to say these things about these guys, and only a few year difference. But the judges in the court started changing their minds. They were like, "Wait a minute." They started researching, and they were like, "You little lady, you lied, and now we're charging you with yeah." That started happening, and they were like, "That man is innocent, and you are lying. Like you're gonna have to pay for this." Like they started imposing fines and penalties for that. And then right after that, few of my friends that are around my age, even younger, started having kids, and they were able. You have to spend some money and get good lawyers. They were able to get custodies of their children away from the women because they
Oh, yeah.
either didn't have this decent jobs or an income. You know, they with the help of their parents to help them get through it, they were able to get custody of their children.
Dude,
Two of them. Two of them got their one. Yeah, one got his son, one got his daughter, and I was like, you know what? There's hope for this damn world yet, at least in one place.
well, the thing is, though, man, I was seeing a woman, and we went to go talk to this lawyer, and he's like, "Is any of this true?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Even half of it?" I was like, "Maybe." I was like, "I don't know what we're talking about," and I was legit because I don't know what the fuck we were talking about.
Oh wow, so that's how you come in, and then he tells you the charges.
Yeah, and then this is after I already got. This is after I already went through everything, everything. This is why I'm sitting there waiting on going to court. Oh, I've already been to court. I'm waiting to be sentenced. This is what it is. I was waiting to be sentenced. I was seeing another lawyer because I was trying to get it overturned. And this motherfucker was going to take my case and end up dead. Died of a heart attack. And then another lawyer came up to me. This is no shit. I went to him. He's like, "You got $25,000 up front?" I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, because I mean, it's a money racket. They're not when a lawyer sees someone can make a claim, kind of like those people that were trying to claim your cousin was on the side of the road, and they can make money. The lawyers are going to jump, and because if they win, they get that 31%.
oh
So
yeah."
a lot of lawyers are like, we no money up front if we don't win the case, and they're like, we'll go and we'll battle this, and we're going to win, and we're going to get you big money settlement so we can get our 31%. You know
Well, he was doing, but he wasn't trying to get no money. He wanted money from me to get me off the shit that things I
yeah,
was doing.
because there was nothing. There was just to prove your innocence. There
Mhm.
was no benefit for them short. The money had to come out of you, and to get a good lawyer to get you off of that to where it wouldn't have, you would have come out innocent or not on the record. You would have had to drop that 25. That's how it goes. That's how they get you.
It's a money racket, bro.
Oh, it
And
always.
and the thing was, I was like, "Fuck it," like just straight up, fuck it. I didn't argue. I didn't cuss or fuss. I just accepted my fate. And then whenever I got hit up, it was 6, 7 years ago by another lawyer because I went through some legal trouble again. He was like, "Do you know you could have appealed this again? Because your DA was indicted and all this stuff." And I was like, "No." So he was trying to get me out, and then I got hit with another felony, which got me knocked down to probation, which I'm on now. Which my probation is, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Where I don't have to go and report,
You're
unsupervised.
yeah, you're on unsupervised probation.
Yeah, and I
Best
have
one
to
to have.
wait. I have to wait till my 2 years is up before I can get pardoned. But I've been talking to the pardon and parolee board about being pardoned on 100% of the charges and
That'd be
even trying
great.
to fight it. And they told me it's going to take years upon years of proving of doing that. I said that's fine, whatever I need to do. Just keep
Right.
my nose clean, my head down. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've been doing that my whole life. But all it stemmed from was a person that didn't like me tried to set me up, and he got good. He got me. He
And
got me
I'll be
100%.
honest with you, with the way you told me how the girl was on the stand, when people go through shit, they're traumatized. They don't. There's a good chance she was attacked, and she just didn't. She either don't see. She saw you in the person, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't you. And of course, that's it. That's it. But the victims, a lot of times, that they just know it was a man.
Mm-hmm.
So that if she was that convincing at 13, sounds like she really was assaulted, but she just they they told her there's the guilty guy. She's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it sounds like to me. And
Oh, dude, I was, dude. Like I said, I got, dude. And the funny thing was, the cop was sitting there coaching her, to telling her everything that she needed to say. And I couldn't have nobody in there on my behalf. I couldn't have my family in there. I couldn't have no friends in there. I couldn't have nobody in there on my
because
side.
you were a legal adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they helped her because she was that young of a juvenile. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
messed up situation. I hope one day you get it all off your name. So
Oh, I will. I will.
that we
I'm
could,
still fighting.
because I know wherever you go, they got to report that, and that's got to be horrible.
Oh, dude,
To
it sucks.
sure.
Man. It
Gotta
sucks.
be. I got a friend that I know him. I don't know how I call him friend. I've been to, you know, he's got charges like that. Now I don't know what he did then, but no one bats an eye at him. Him and his wife makes big money. They bought this big, huge, fancy house with an in-ground pool outside and a waterfall and all this shit. But no one bats an eye at him. Like it slipped through one time, or it was mentioned. But none of the neighbors, no one cares. And
Yeah,
he would be about how old you are now, Mike?
I'm 45.
He would be like your age because he's ahead of me by 3 years, I think. But he'd
Yeah,
be
and the
like
thing
your
is,
age.
anybody that actually knows me around this area and around everywhere else, they tell everybody else to shut the fuck up about me. I got people backing me up 100,000%.
Yeah, what sucks is you run that in the books, and a cop sees that, and they're like, guilty of criminal. Oh, you sick fuck, and they don't know, and but and 90, I'll say 98% of the time, those people are guilty, So it's a fucked up
So it is,
situation.
dude. I went to classes, bro, where a dude raped his own child. All right, raped his
That's
own
true.
child.
You had to go to those group classes with people
Yeah, and
that
listen
did
to
it.
that shit. Yeah, I mean, dude, this
Yeah.
is live shit we're talking about. I'll have, dude, and they classify me. There was no evidence. I didn't have any rape charge. I didn't have any sexually penetration charge. They couldn't find any DNA. All they
That's
had
what really
was,
that pisses me off the most. That there was no DNA, that there was nothing of what you just said, and I know they didn't hit you at all, but it's still on your record. That's just fucked. And I know they did it
yeah,
to cover themselves in case. I know
yeah.
that's why they did it,
It's
but
a blanket charge. It's a
but
blanket charge because they
it
tried
fucks
me.
your life up. It
Oh,
fucks
dude,
your life up.
they tried me as a rapist. They tried me as a and they couldn't get that. They couldn't get that charge, so they dropped that 100%. So then they tried sexual molestation. Couldn't get that charge. And then they're like, "We got a charge for you. You can't beat sodomy." And I was like, "The fuck." I didn't know what that was. My lawyer told me, he's like, well, it's over the age of 12, under the age of 16. And I'm
Well,
like, the fuck?
sodomy is a little more than that. That's backdoor shit. But
But no. Legit in Alabama, the law states it's either getting a blowjob basically or touching a minor in an inappropriate way that's over the age of 12, under the age of 16.
who decided to call that sodomy? That's technically the technical term for that would be se-
Diddling, a
se-
diddler.
no, sexual misconduct with the like cardinal knowledge, like minor, like that. Of course, it has to be Alabama. Somebody fucked up back in the day. They never fixed the law, but that's not what sodomy is. That's wrong.
I know what sodomy is, man.
Yeah,
Trust me. I mean, I've heard
that's some
Marilyn
Alabama.
Manson.
That's some Alabama ruling shit right there.
Yeah, cake and sodomy. If everybody don't know what Marilyn Manson is.
I just the idea of the age and how they described it, they fucked that one all up.
And Guar song preschool prostitute.
I mean, that's not a new. I don't think they would try to make that one today. I don't think. I don't think Gore would even touch that one today.
But dude, they made the song. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I just don't think they would do that today. But yeah, there's a
Dude,
lot of shit people.
Dude, that was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
90s was a hell of a drug, I guess. I guess that was what they call it. The 90s was 90s. The 90s was 90s. But the thing was, though, man, that's what they hit me with. And it was second or third degree, whichever it was. And I'm like, dude, you had no proof. It was basically he said, she said.
I wish you had a better lawyer, because without DNA and without the obvious penetration, without obviously seeing none of that happen, there's no way that you wouldn't have walked. It came down to that was all on your lawyer, bro.
Dude, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. Because, dude, I'm telling you, you can go back and look at my record, dude. You can read the transcripts. I wish everybody that would doubt me would read the transcripts. Because I have nothing to hide. Nothing. Right. But the Velveteen Dream situation, this is what I want to get on about Velveteen Dream. Supposedly, he sent text to an underage kid about wanting to see his body.
I don't know if it's legit or not, but I saw the text messages when all this was in the news and all of that. If it
And
was,
he even stated the boy that hit him up, the dude that hit him up, wanted to show his body. He was like, "Look, man, I don't know if he can be in WWE or not." He was at an indie show, and he was talking to the dude who was in high school, and he was like, "Look, man, if you want to get in that route, just continue doing your work, and I can put in a word for you." And whenever he quit having conversations with this guy, the guy went on above and beyond and had people doctor the messages and say that he was saying this and wanted to see this and wanted to see that and made him out to be a pedophile. He's like, dude, here's my cell phone. I had nothing. He goes, they questioned me. They even pulled my phone records. They did everything. None of it was all on the up and up.
well, obviously, well, I mean, people like to say, "Oh, he's guilty, because everything." But
He was
if
never tried.
that's what I'm saying, if it didn't even go to trial, and they had this phone app, that means it was all falsified. But there's no real way to clear his name. They just had to remove him because people are going to associate it with him,
For
with
the
him.
rest, for the rest of his life. Just like Joey Ryan, just like David Starr, just like what's his name, Jack Gallagher, just like
Well, from what I understand, he did go through some. He did do some. The Jack Gallagher dude.
oh, he did do some shit.
Yeah, I heard it, and it was not no 16-year-old in their country. It was younger. I heard that he. I don't know what he was into or what it was, but he was messing. I don't know if it was online or what, but he. Yeah, who else you named?
David Starr, he was the originator of the whole Me Too movement.
Him, I don't know much about with it. I know that, and Joey Ryan never really got charged with anything like that either. But because of his gimmick, it was just too perverted. He got caught up in the Me Too movement. The one that pisses me off is Marty
Marty
Scurll,
Scurll.
because so much talent. I mean, we've lost this guy for years. He was so good on TV, and all these people. I'm like, it's no different than when you got these people from other countries bitching about our government and our voting. It's like, bro, you're not from here. So like, I get mad when I see these people from other countries saying, "Oh, you're sick, this and that. It doesn't matter. She was 5 years old." I'm like, well, first, I mean, to each his own, and everybody's got their own moral code. But they, Marty was older. He was older than 21, but he wasn't 30 either. But and I'm not making excuses about it. I'm just saying the girl said she was 18. Now, people are like, "Oh, you couldn't be." I'm like, yeah, if I'm a 40 plus year old man, 18 is a little out there. Okay, yeah, fine. Old enough to be your child. I get that. But Marty was not that age. And I said, second, it's legal in his country.
Yes.
And that's their law. It's not your place to say you think it should be like this because you live in the U.S. and you think it 18. I said, and she lied. She
It,
lied.
but that's the thing, man. It, all these people here lately have come out against this person and that person. I'm going to talk about a little bit of the news. Jasmine St. Clair and Shelly Martinez are basically shitting on Janelle Grant, saying because of she took an NDA and she took this money,
Yeah,
that she is a fucking conniving bitch and she
I,
should
I
not.
agree 100% with that because all right, if you're an assault victim, go tell somebody, go get something done. You don't take an NDA and claim a bunch of money and say it's going to be all right. Then years later, you know what? It's not all right. Now I want it. No, 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 no,
You
no.
took an NDA.
If she wouldn't have took the NDA and went to the law, I would believe her. I think that, and from what I'm hearing, I know we're getting a little, well, probably not too many people watching right now, but we're going to get in the news tomorrow. But from what I'm hearing, they're considering it consensual. If Vince is going to get away, or I'm saying get away, it's going to be let off completely clean of those charges. Now, the John Laurinaitis and sending her, that I don't know because the pump
He's
that
already in the clear. He's already in the clear, dude.
Laurinaitis is? Cool.
He's working for the defense.
Because they got even with the P Diddy case, they didn't even hit him hard for the cross. He got hit the hardest for racketeering. That's what the charges he got hit the hardest with was not trafficking women or prostitutes. It was the racketeering.
They didn't give a fuck about his fucking lotion. They didn't give a fuck about his baby oil. They didn't give a fuck.
And the main problem with that is you have a lot of they claim they had all these underage and minors and all, but a lot of it came up adults. A lot of adults, and you know that's hard to. If you're doing drugs with somebody and something happens, you kind of, you know, I'm not saying you ask for it, but you don't put yourself in that predicament if you know what's if the Diddy parties, you know, you don't put yourself in that predicament.
Just like the whole situation with Bob Barker back in the day, hitting on all the ladies and stuff, and he got away with that shit.
Yeah, well, he did. There was more than hitting on the ladies because I watched every day. I loved the old school
Price is Right. Man, I love Bob Barker, bro.
And you had Holly, and you had Diane, and you had Janice, and he was behind the scenes. He was really dating and banging the little young one, Diane.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, they all got mad and wanted to get. Holly is the one that she got so broke she had to live out of her car because she fought for years and years to go to court with it because she was fired because she got pregnant.
Yep.
And she put on 10 pounds and he fired her.
Yep.
And so she's the one that fought that for years and years and years.
For discrimination. She filed a discrimination lawsuit against him.
Yeah. But she never had sexual relations with him. Years later, the other one would file something. But the youngest one, she was like the baby. She was like, I don't know if she was like barely
21, 22, maybe
20. Yeah, no older than 23. They had a relationship going.
Yeah.
That was full blown.
Just like Hugh Hefner was fucking all these girls that was in fucking Playboy.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear about Hugh Hefner's widow released that she found underage pics in his stuff?
Yes, I heard about that, dude.
Yeah. Which, well, I'm not taking up for nobody, but if we go back in the day, he started Playboy in the 50s. We'd be back to the old time thing again. I'm not saying he was a spring chick. He was a lot younger. I mean, yeah, we playing with, and people today want to say it's the law. I'm like, I'm not taking up for nobody, but there's a certain age generation where this also could tie into wrestling again. You could put Ric Flair in his way of flirting with and pull, even though you're not supposed to pull your junk out on it, but you could put a lot of those older wrestlers that go up to the women, and you know that was the way they did shit at one point. That's the way it was. I was watching. Hey, I got a good one for you. I was watching the WCW YouTube last night, and they were in '99. The exploding vagina logo that opened and closed for the wrestlers to come out. That's Tony Khan, yeah. And Ernest Miller came out for a match. Remember when he had the lady Mrs. Jones?
Yep.
Real pretty woman. I thought of. I'm gonna tell you what I saw, and then I thought of today and how the wrestling business has changed. They're walking out down the main aisle, and a fan was like, "Hey!" So she goes to shake his hand. She's trying to leave. The fan grabs her and pull. You can see on camera she gets pulled back. No freak out or nothing. She's just. I'm like, today they would have been all. I'm not, and rightfully so. Don't touch the performance, but oh shit, that really fell in there. Okay, I found it. I was like, not in the sofa.
High fives were okay. High fives were okay. Helping somebody on the guardrail, that's okay.
No. This was he grabbed her arm and didn't want to let her go, and she didn't turn around freaked out. She was just like she smiled and played off. Today, man, security would have been throwing that fan out, and which rightfully so. But security would have never let them hang on there like unless she walked away from. Never today in WWE. I don't know if you could in AEW they would have probably thrown, but. So 1999 to today, and I saw that, and I was just like, wow, how times have changed, you know? I'm like, there was no security anywhere near that. The fan held on to her, tried to pull on her not to leave. She just smiles, and she played off great. No, she didn't look like, are you stupid? Are you? She just smiled and walked right away like it's just a thing. Today, that would have been a war.
I'm going to tell you this, and back in TNA's heyday, whenever you had the beautiful people going out and meet and greeting fans before they were allowed to go into the arena before their show, before their pay-per-views, I I was there being helping security. This legitimately happened, and this happened against Velvet Sky. By matter of fact, a guy reached and grabbed her tit
Oh yeah, I heard of this.
and squeezed her titty, and she immediately knocked it away and said, "What the fuck?" And she immediately went to the back,
Yeah,
and that fan got thrown out right then and there,
rightfully
uh,
so.
rightfully so. And she was pissed because it happened. Like it was just like a spur of the moment thing where dude just reached and grabbed and
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
And this happened outside in front of God and everybody. And dude, she walked in and went to the back. Angelina Love looked at me and I said, I pointed to her too, get the fuck out of here. And then I went in and I seen Jay Lethal and SoCal Val walking towards me. I said, "Hey, come outside, get these fans, come on here and meet the fans." And I told SoCal Val to stay behind Jay Lethal. So they were at the door legitimately, and it was legitimately Jay Lethal in front, SoCal Val behind him, and the doors. So nobody could get around him to get to her.
Mm-hmm.
You could see her, she was talking to fans and shaking hands and stuff, but you couldn't get to her. And he was looking at me like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like, "People are grabby out here." And he's like that ain't good. So he went after everything was said and done. That was like 15 minutes for the doors open. I'm standing out the doors, and he went to the back and he was like, "What happened?" And I told him what happened. And he was like, "What happened to that fan?" I said, "He's gone. Don't worry about him. He ain't coming in here." The cops got him and took him off, and they gave him I think they arrested him or whatever. I hope they did. But because that right there to me that should be a felony.
Well, that's at least a sexual assault charge right there.
It should be. It really should be. I don't care if you're at an indie show. I don't care if you're at a WWE show. I don't care if you're I don't care any show whatsoever. I don't care if you're at a concert and you're a fan and you reach up, for example, and you even grab another fan by the boob. That's assault. That's a sexual assault.
I know you know Jasmine St. Clair. Do you remember when she did her infamous gangbang? I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you know a lot of the story of what went on into that? You know about the fan that grabbed her? Yeah, and then she was like they threw him right out. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, no, you didn't. You're here to bang her. You're not here to grab her. So
You're
I
the
remember that.
and just like an XPW, and to me personally, I don't care if you had a lifestyle back in the day. If you're an adult star or whatever, that was what you did. That is not who you are. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you still can't legally touch people in public and do it. You can't do that. You can't.
Dude, it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. Like, for example, I tried to talk to Veronica Kane, and I wanted her to come on here and talk to us before, because she had some stuff going on too, and I wanted to talk to her about it, but all that shit's been done and over with, so to speak. She handled it, which is good on her. I love Veronica Kane. I have nothing but the most admiration and respect for that woman. But there are other women in this world of wrestling, and that don't have that luxury. Hell, there's been women on AEW shows being like grabbed by Sky Blue's ass is being grabbed before, and
Yeah,
she's like, "What?"
I don't know if I saw a clip of that or heard about it.
Yeah, and they threw that fan right out.
Oh
What
yeah,
should have
you
been
have to.
done? What before that, dude? He should be arrested, not thrown out.
Well, the
Arrested.
first thing is you got to get them out the crowd area, out the seating, out the arena. Then you deal with all that with the law in the back. You detain them, but you got to get them out of the building, out of the where the show is. First of all, you have to. You know that.
Mm-hmm. And that's my thing, man. Like all these things that happen, what the fuck? And I was there at TNA when all that happened, man. And Velvet was like, "Why did you let that happen?" I didn't let it happen.
Let it happen.
I'm
It
one
happened,
person.
and
I'm one person. Yeah, I was the only person out there. And when it happened, dude, I immediately she knocked the hand off. I grabbed it and I pushed him away, and I said, you're not coming in." And then she immediately said, "What the fuck?" Threw her hands up, disgusted, and walked to the back. Like she opened
right.
up the door to get in the arena and she left.
Yeah.
And Angelina Love was like, "What do I do?" And she looked at me like, she didn't say it out loud. And I was like, she opened up the door. She said, "I'm sorry. Show's about to start. I need to go. Thank y'all for being here. And she left. She didn't know. I mean, she saw what happened. And Madison Rain was about to join them, and she was already headed to the back. And I seen Jay and SoCal Val working. I said, come out here. But y'all don't go no further than here. And he wanted to come out and meet and greet the fans. And I was like, I pointed at him, and he stayed back. Like, oh, shit. Like, something really happened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And then he asked, like, what the fuck happened? I was like, you need to talk to Velvet. And he went back there and talked to her. I'm not using any real names. I'm using their stage names.
Right.
I'm not going to do that to them. But that legitimately happened. And, dude, I was at an indie show, and I want to say it was in Philly. This is back in 2002. It was at a CZW show, and there was a woman that kept flashing her bra at the wrestlers. And one of the wrestlers backstage, I'm gonna go yank that bra off. I was like, dude, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, why not? I was like, I don't care what she's doing. She's not showing you her tits. She's just flashing you her bra. I said, I know it's very inappropriate, but don't go out there and snatch the lady's bra off. Well, his match came up. I'm not saying any names. She leaned over the rail. Boom.
So she pulled it.
She pulled him all the way out, bro. And dude, it took everything out of that dude, man. Just the look. He stopped. And he looked back at me, and I was like, no. And he was like, and he stopped. He was going to go grab it, and he went and like threw his sweat at her. And
that was pretty good. That's pretty good.
He's like, I've seen better. And I was like, yes, heel magic. Yes. And he was a face, and they booed him. And he became the biggest heel of CZW for 3 years running. Dude, it was magic. It was like so much magic. I was so happy. And that legitimately happened. You can go back and watch the dude. I was seeing it. They were huge too, dude. I mean, she was a big woman. She wore like bra, shirt, everything. Boom.
She must have been after him.
Oh, dude, she was the only one that did it to him. She didn't do it to him. She just splashed her bra and bounced her titties for him. But him, bam, open and roll, bro. And I was like, no. Like, no. I was yelling it from behind the curtain, no. And he looked at it, and he went, I've seen better. And I was like, yes, we don't have to kick you out tonight. It was like a DX moment, like.
Yeah, but those were actually plants back in the DX day.
Yeah, I know.
I found that out, but yeah.
Yeah, but and also, Terry Runnels showed hers too to the crowd on Shotgun Saturday Night. That is a fine woman to this day, in my personal opinion. There's no one finer than Terry Runnels on this earth.
Fine. Today she looks bad. She had a picture of her next to Missy Hyatt.
I
was like, damn, Missy almost looks better as bad as they're in their 60s now.
Dude, they both can still get it. I don't give a damn. I said it out loud. They both can still get it. They're beautiful women. I will stand by that 100,000,000%. They're beautiful women. And Terry Reynolds hit me up.
I'll settle for, if we're going to go to the older ones, I'll settle for Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Maybe even Kimberly.
Nah, I mean, man, I was always a fan of Terry Reynolds.
Terry Reynolds ain't got no meat on her except for the fake boobs.
Dude, her and Jackie and man, there's so many of them. I mean, dude, there was a bunch of lotion used on them women. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. I'm being honest, being 100% real here. Hey, man, you can't fake on me for fronting, right? I'm being real. But those women are still women. You don't go up to them and you just try to manhandle these women. You just don't do that. But whenever you go to a show, man. Just like, for example, you've been on stage before. You've seen women show you boobs to y'all before. I'm pretty sure of it. Tell me
You
I'm wrong.
know, never really got much of that, to be honest with you, because I was never really playing chick that kind of chick music. Now in the cover days, believe it or not, I got a lot of pussy for being in the band. Like they'd be like, "Honey, you can get it for free." You know,
Hmm.
I'd be like, "All right, I'll come across the street." Yeah. And a lot of women were like, "Where's the band?" Like the band at the time, the name, they were like, "Where's the panties? Where's the panties?" I'm like, "We ain't got that for you."
See, that's the thing, though, man. I mean, back in the '80s, Motley Crue, Poison, Warrant.
I could tell you probably because most people are especially locally, so many people know each other that they don't want to be caught seeing doing certain things. So I probably got more blowjobs in public than flash boob jobs. I'll put it like that.
High five,
Yeah. High five.
high five.
High
So,
five.
so the thing was, I was at an Insane Clown Posse show, and the Insane Clown Posse were not one of the ones show us your tits. You know what I'm saying? They're not like that. But there was a lot of women out there showing them their titties
Right.
because they were sitting on top of dudes' shoulders and flashing
Yeah.
away,
Well, I
bro.
mean, that all bands like Kiss really got a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
And the modern day band that happened that you see tits everywhere. They even bring up like a row of chicks on stage out the crowd after they bring a plan on to make everybody feel comfortable. To Steel Panther, and yeah, because I've been to and they charge ridiculous for their tickets, by the way. But yeah, they'll have a plant come out and show the boobage. Then that makes all the girls feel like, all right, somebody else did. So then they bring up the real life ones. They don't force them. Sometimes one or two back out and don't do it, but they'll line up 12 women or across the stage or whatever, and it'll be boobalicious.
Hmm.
Yeah, we get nice stuff like that.
Yeah, and Vandals did it too. Vandals did it all the time. Vandals were known for it. Guttermouth. Hell, I seen what was that band I saw?
But the big modern day one where you expect to see boobs, like the modern day, is Steel Panther.
Yeah,
But the classic one, where the one you're gonna see most girls on the shoulders of the dude showing the boobs. I mean, I remember that with Kiss more than anybody.
or the '80s, man. Any '80s hair metal band.
Yeah, well, Kiss is before that, but
Yeah,
you know, it's
Kiss
like
started.
it's like the Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin finds out when Lois was young she slept with Gene Simmons, and he's all like, "You slept with Gene?" He's like, "Yo, my wife did Kiss. My wife did Kiss." And it's like, yeah, yeah,
Dude, I'm a big fan of that type of shit because that shit's unplanned. But you know, back in the day, ICP shows were all ages. So who's to say that there weren't underage girls showing them their titties? Does that mean they should be put on the sex offender watch list?
well, we're hoping they weren't underage, I guess. I mean, we don't know, but well, to my knowledge, don't you have to be over 21 to get into the gallery of the Juggalos? I thought you did.
No, this right here was at a regular show.
Oh well, you can't control what the public does. You can't do that. But most concerts, you have to be either 18 or 21 to get in.
Most
Especially,
of them, most nowadays, they're all ages. Like Tech Nine's not all ages.
not in my area over here a lot of the places. Well, we're back to the gambling thing again. When you have gambling on the premises, you got to be 21.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of venues that they purposely they go higher so they don't have the kids acting dumb. But yeah, it's more places than not are 18 or 21 than 18. And there's not a lot of all ages places at all. And usually they go down because they can't sell alcohol.
Hmm.
And so it's nothing. You gotta two like these three bands might get together and rent this place to put on a show, but there's no alcohol. So the venue's they're gonna get paid by who comes, and they have to pay the venue for running the lights, keeping the place alive. So the yeah, and no alcohol. A lot of them go down. They don't work, or they'll try something and it won't last. You got to be able to make an income.
Well, these shows are here are all ages, but if you're over 21, you can buy alcohol.
So we don't have places like because they're so worried about the underage drinking and driving. So they were, and that's a big thing. Just drinking and driving in general for so long has been a big thing in this direction of life. I mean, I'm like, hey, but yeah, it's the majority of the places. If they're local, like very local, like the bar I'm gonna take y'all to, you can be 18 and go in there. If you got a guardian or parent with you, you can be 18 and go in, and they're not worried. But there is gambling machines present that are not hidden, but they're there. But you can go into the place, especially when they know you and all of that, you know. But they know you there with a family. They'll let you drink too. They're not worried about you drinking. If you're 18 and you got a parent or guardian, especially if they know you're in. That's not a problem. But yeah, you got to be 21. And some of these local bars, they just tired of the ghetto life.
Oh,
One of them raised their age limit to 25, and then the gangster one raised their age limit to 30.
yeah, most of the black clubs down here are 30 and up.
Yeah, they're tired of the pulling out
The
guns over
clubs.
$5 or $10 on a pool table. They're
Yeah,
just tired of the bullshit. They don't like it. You know, that them themselves don't like it.
yeah.
They're like fuck them kids. No,
As Hood Slim would say, fuck the kids.
that was not at all what they said. They said what you thinking I'm saying they said, but hey, they can say it about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Fuck the
mean, but,
kids.
but
Don't bring
yeah,
your kids here. We're not your fucking daycare.
yeah. But in all honesty, it's the older people that bring the money and spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what it is. So
But you ready to go ahead and show your shit, or you want to show anything tonight? Or you want to wait till tomorrow night?
I'm gonna give since we did the podcast and me and you are on here, I'm gonna give you a preview of something.
All right.
And yeah, I'll show one thing, and I tell you what, it's gonna become a part of the podcast.
Uh-uh.
You had no idea I was getting this, I don't believe. And I'm gonna have to turn off the lights for the camera and unplug that and plug this in. I'm gonna have to do a little yeah.
Oh, the light,
Yeah, you knew what I was getting?
the pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about that.
All right. Well, if you want to zoom in on me, I'll show it to you and I'll flip through some of the different it's more badass than the other ones, I'll say that. Tell you what, I'll turn off my if you want to zoom in on me, I'll turn off
I'm
the
trying to.
big
Hold on. I'm trying
I'll
to. I'm
turn
trying to.
turn off the big light and I'll cycle through some of this to show you, but I'm gonna have
Hold
to hang
on.
it on the wall. But
Hold on. My computer is being slow.
I'm gonna start holding it up so I can look on the screen so I can see what height I need to be at to make it work because it's not the cord is not very long. I'm gonna have to buy
It
it.
won't let me maximize you there, buddy.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm waiting for me to get on the screen so I can see if I can show the damn because the cord is so short. I'm gonna have to buy an extension and I'm gonna have to buy tape to hang it on the wall. They don't come. They're not wall
Hold on. Let me
hangers.
refresh real quick. If it kicks me out, I can come right back in. Hold on.
Woohoo! I'm here, but no mic. So I'm listening for Mike. Listening for Mike. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All right, cool. All right, let's bring this up here. The cord is so short, I'm gonna have to buy an extension. But let's see if we could cycle through some of this. This is just the slow crawls that it does.
Oh, that's pretty badass. It's like the
Oh,
wall.
it does a lot, dude.
That's badass.
All of these are pre-programmed. There's a free phone app where you can make it do how you want and make it go to the music, but there's plenty more. Watch. That's probably the most coolest one that looks like the album, but this is all chilling mode, by the way.
That's badass, dude.
Hang on. It's I still haven't cycled through all of these yet.
Like blood.
Yeah, so it was saying, man, you could have an acid trip with this thing.
Fuck. All right, dude. That's badass, dude.
Well, hang on, it's still got
Hey,
more
look, it's
cool
the
shit.
party. It's the party colors. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's
It's like
gonna
it's
get cool. It's gonna get cooler in a minute, but And yeah, if I leave them go, they'll keep changing colors and they'll stick with the same patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was gonna fill up the wall, but kind of a rainbow looking deal here. And I think that's where we were. No, that's a different pattern yet again.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's gonna probably do that with all the colors, and then
Oh, that's badass.
he hasn't even seen the good ones yet. This might have been the one I started on. I don't know. All right, there's a
Well,
lot of shit.
how many different functions is it?
Well, wait. Now you get to look at all this awesomeness.
What the fuck? Yeah, I tripped the fuck out, dude. That's wicked. That's like a music thing there. That's fucking hell. So this become a mainstay?
I'm gonna hang it on the wall.
Hell yeah, you are. That's badass, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna find something that doesn't make everybody watching have a seizure, and something that just does works pretty cool. And I'm gonna hang her on the wall behind me.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, a lot. Some of them are small as hell. This one's damn near a foot and a perfect square. That's why I bought this one. Also, this is the only one where the words don't light up the background as the wall does. So I was like, that's just too cool. I was like, some of them are just words and so small. I was like, I'm gonna get that Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd's big for $60. That ain't bad.
Yeah, the Iron Maiden is not even 2 inches tall, and it's just the letters. I was like, that one is so fucking puny.
Yeah, I seen the Saxon one. The Saxon one looked pretty cool too.
I was so tempted to get. My only problem is I wish it had the wheel under the. It has the eagle. I wish it had the front wheel of the motorbike under the name, but these things are $60, man.
I know.
They're high.
Higher than giraffe pussy.
But this Floyd one is just. I when I saw how it was good, it's a perfect square and it's gonna hang big enough to do it. If I go put that thing behind me on the wall, you know. But anyway, that's pretty much it. But there's a free app that works for all the lights, and you can have it either go to the music or have it pre-programmed or whatnot, and all of that good shit. Let me put that down right there. The cord is not long at all. I'm gonna have to rig some shit to make that work. Let me plug the light back in here. You want
That's
to see
bad.
something? You want to see something else cool?
Sure,
JSA certified.
sure.
All right. Let me put the other light on here. Yeah, that Floyd one is pretty cool. I think it's the best looking one out of all of them.
Wish they made a Rage Against the Machine one.
They are doing requests. Probably it will happen if it before you know it. It probably will happen, but because they just did a Randy Rhodes one for one guy and he ordered 12.
Wow.
He's gonna sell them and do. Everybody put up an X so many dollars and someone's gonna win it. All right, let me show you this. I had to get this. This is actually real, autographed. It's JSA certified. It's the real deal.
Hold on, let me make you big again. Oh, motherfucker, I gotta make myself, I gotta reset again. I gotta refresh again.
Well, let me just
I
zoom in and maybe you can see it.
can't even see who that is.
It is autographed by Shirley Eaton. That is the chick from Goldfinger that was killed by the gold paint.
What?
She signed a bunch of them, and JSA, which I have it right here, were there and watched her sign it so they didn't have to authenticate a damn thing. But that is her name. She wrote right here, and that is Goldfinger that she wrote, but that is Shirley Eaton. So it's
That's badass.
the original gold. He had a few of them for sale. This is my official JSA. It's the serial number, all that. It's real. But I just had to get it. He still had a few left. And I was like, I'm a James Bond fan. He's like, I know, I have one for myself. Because he's a huge James Bond fan, Chad. He's got every poster in his house.
Damn.
And he has signed stuff. He has nice stuff. Like he's got yeah. That's some of his personal collection. He's got like everything on CD you can get from them, like vintage. He's got. And
Damn.
if it comes up and he don't have it, he's gonna veto it from the auction and take it. Yeah, he will do that for shit like that.
I've seen him do that before.
Oh yeah,
This is
shit
me in
like
my
the
personal collection.
him, the Beatles, Metallica, Tool, James Bond. That's all up his alley. And of course, that dude
Yes.
you could put the movie on 1,000 times, a million times. That dude is in love with The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
And yes, don't forget about yes.
He's not big on Yes. He likes him, but he's not that big.
He's got a big collection of them.
Oh yeah, but he's got Neil Young 8 grand signed shit that he's willing to sell. He sold one already. He's got a few of them. He's got Metallica Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning with all 4 signed with Cliff. He's willing to sell the Ride the Lightning for 15 grand. He said Kill 'Em All he's keeping because it's the first one. But he's been trying to sell. I think unless he sold it the other day, he's been trying to sell Ride the Lightning for forever.
Damn.
He's got all 4. You can either spin $5K and get all the Beatles on one piece of paper signature, or he's got all 4 of them individual, all like nicely packaged for 15 grand. Yeah, he keeps that in the vault.
Motherfucker. Now
Yeah.
that'd be something worth having.
Who's gonna drop 15 grand on that?
Michael Jackson. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching Ringside Ranch, you're doing life wrong. And we're not music, or I'm sorry, we're not just food that you eat, ladies and gentlemen. We're food for the ears. And Jordan, take us home.
See, you cut me off. I was actually gonna try you're doing life wrong, brother. I was gonna try for once. But yeah, just like even in her old age, she's forever in beauty here in gold, Miss Shirley Eaton, and like Pink Floyd. Just remember, what's mine's mine, what's yours, it's mine too.
We got any fun facts for the evening there, Jordan?
Yeah, we got some hella